try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. You check as I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill, no discretion. Your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they drive the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off, I'ma break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft. You can change lives, you create thoughts, never waste time. You got one shot, you got one life. Better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they drive the chains, you can say no, free me. Try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less. You check as I'm chess, what's happening next? Yeah. He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson. He got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession. All in his possession, you got their attention. I'll leave an impression and take a redemption. Just kill, no discretion. Your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they drive the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race. Life is a chase, I don't want a place, I wanna be first. Work till it hurts, dehydrated thirst till I'm in a hearse. High ambitions and the right mind can take you so far. It's like you lived a few lifetimes. Take off, I'ma break off from the weak minds. They can stay soft. You can change lives, you create thoughts, never waste time. You got one shot, you got one life. Better pop off. What do you like? Make a dream job. No 9-5, no mean boss. Just my life and free thoughts. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they drive the chains, you can say no, free me. Try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, your check is I'm chess, what's happening next? He got the venom, a tangible weapon, no coming in second. This life is a lesson, he got a new engine from pain, it's a blessing. New focus, no guessing, just bold and obsession, all in his possession. You got their attention, I'll leave an impression and take your redemption. Just kill, no discretion, your mind is a weapon. 11-11, it's time for progression. You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me. When they try the chains, you can say no, free me. So he's been looking for somebody who could save him, instead of searching inside for what they gave him. A strong will, strong mind causes mayhem. We could change the world, change times, rearrange them. Staying on pace, running the race, life is a chase, I don't wanna I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working. Never stop searching, never quite so thirsty. I'm toxic and psychotic, with this logic you can't stop it. It's been chronic since I was a boy, so neurotic and chaotic. I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the cast, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah. I've been doing this, I'm on it. I just wanna be iconic. Sipping on a gin and tonic, got me going off when I'm on this topic, yeah. If I ever play, I want it. You know that I'm always honest. Stay away from those who are toxic. Keep 'em out your face, no way, you don't want it, yeah. Don't try to drain my energy. The enemy is everything. It's mentally, unhealthily, spreading like a rare disease. But I won't let it get to me. I don't need your therapy. I can leave a legacy of leading by intensity. Come on, we can fight this. Freedom is priceless. Spread just like a virus. Living in a crisis. Do you feel courageous? Do you seek greatness? Trust me, you can take it. Go on and take your aim. I'm built to last with the webs I'm weaving. I could change the past with all I'm achieving. Got my foot on gas, never stop competing. If you break like glass, then this life's gonna eat 'em. Make mistakes real fast, then you learn how to beat 'em. If you take off the gas, you can see all the healing. If the pain's in the past, move on from the grave and put your foot on the gas. No, never stop competing, yeah. Ain't no motherfucker in this world could do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking bite me. I'll be cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, Turning losses into gains, I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, Popping off and risking things, gonna make a fucking name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain. I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend. Everything that you see is something I invent, and it's only a percent. I'm gonna take shots. If I miss all, forget it. I'll take a fat loss just to learn all that's in it. I'm taking snapshots, learning how to fall and get it. I'm getting back up, always stand tall, don't sweat it. I never back up, I don't miss a thing or regret it. I'm always learning, you could call me academic. I'm always working, never been apathetic. That energy is like a poison, needs some antiseptic. Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking fight me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking bite me. Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself. Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking bite me. I'll be cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of pain, turning losses into gains. I'm the boss, I'm making change. I've been rocking this exchange, popping off and risking things, gonna make a fucking name. I just wanna be famous, but I don't want that cheap fame. No, I'm not that vain. I just wanna be greatness. 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 Ain't no motherfucker in this world can do it like me. Open up your eyes and insert a little rising. You don't have to love me, you don't have to like me. Got enough love in myself, in my psyche. You should have the same in your brain nightly. If you wanna taste, bitch, you can fucking try me. If you wanna hate, bitch, you know where to find me. And if you're going hate this, you can fucking bite me. Okay, I'm going off every chance I get. I don't really take a loss, well, I'll admit. That's why I'll make it to the top, yeah, I commit. And no, I'm never getting lost, I get after it. Investing in my own stock, cause it's faster than any crypto hits go, let me spend everything.
Yes, people, welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. I'm still sleepy. Oh my gosh. but specifically, welcome back to another transfer show on our Chelsea Perspective. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. But more importantly, blue morning to you. And I hope you're all doing well. As usual, quite a lot to talk about. It's become a cliche, but it's not our fault. So much is happening. So much, again, the surprising thing is there's so much surrounding just two people, and hopefully we will not be dembeled again. More importantly, I hope you're doing well. Let's get into the show. After playing the intro, I will get into the chart to see how everybody there is doing, because that's our tradition here. That's how we operate here. So welcome back to the show. Let's get into it. As you're coming in, liking the video, the likes are very important. The likes will help us reach more people. With the likes, the YouTube algorithm will be triggered, and the more the YouTube algorithm is triggered, the more this particular stream will be pushed to people who'd be interested in this particular show. And the more people we have here, the more the fun the show will be. So please keep liking the video as you're coming in to help us reach more people. Again, thank you for finding the time to be part of this particular show. I cannot thank you enough. We all have things that we could be doing it rather than be here. So thank you. It's not easy. The first person here says Rashford to PSG. Let me tell you this: we're gonna be, paying attention strictly to Chelsea at this point. In about, I think, 4-5 days or so, the sister channel launches. That you can come on there, talk about Fulham, talk about any club you want to talk about. So, but yeah, Rashford to PSG is a surprise to me. I didn't see that one coming. Not at any time. I do not want Fofana at 80 million. Rather have Declan Rice. That's your opinion. I'd rather have Fofana. I have my reservation about us paying that much money for Declan Rice. But I think if Declan Rice was to eventually come to Chelsea, he will come on even a cheaper fee, not how much has been quoted to us for a pretty long time now. Joker says, Boehly, thanks for putting together Ronaldo and Kante, my favorite players. Here's the thing, Joker, I love you, I respect you, and I know you've become a regular here, but the truth is I still don't see Ronaldo coming to Chelsea. If that happens, I'd really, really be surprised if it happens. And again, good question there. You asked that one for me. Phantom of Many Topics says, if Fofana is signed for 18 million, that is for the window, or at least that is for any possibility of me returning to Chelsea before. Again, Phantom, you're looking for my fight here. Stay at Fulham if that's what you want to do. And again, if we pay that much money for him, I will not be surprised. The question is, what we've talked about a zillion times on this show is this: we will most definitely, and declared more importantly, he said that he said that a million times even before it started happening. That we're still getting players, we'll still get players we want, but we will overpay eventually. But here's where I'm happy. What I'm happy for, we are panic buying only from a financial perspective. We're not panic buying in the sense that we're getting a player that will not fit the manager's project. So I'm not really concerned. The monetary aspect of the whole thing, I think, if the player, is worth, if the is worth the money, then their performance will surely take care of how much we paid for them. Liam Lane said, morning, Kuchila, panel and chat, and I hope Nightbot is a bit, is still flirty, but at least not too flirty. It takes a while before he says hello to anybody else. Again, I'm still programming, but Liam, again, a blue morning. Again, it says 53 players still not registered in La Liga. Again, it looks like I still have to, maybe I have to find time to learn more about how La Liga operates. It doesn't just look as if it's not a Barcelona thing, but again, our attention is focused on Barcelona because we've been doing business. We've been crossing paths with them, given that that is players we want, they want, and something like that. That's why we're paying attention to theirs only. But 53 is a lot of players. You cannot handle the truth said money, guys. Have a good weekend. Hope we smash Spurs. I hope so. But Spurs are a different animal. But the good thing is, whenever we play teams as strong as they are, we're also a different animal ourselves. So I'm looking forward to that one. I'm not nervous. Unlike the game against Everton, I was really nervous. Given that we're before that game, we started hearing how Dominic Calvert-Lewin will be playing, how they lost player A, B, C. That's usually when I'm concerned. But now I'm not concerned. Good morning to you too, Michael Ebuka. I hope you're doing it well. Put McTominay presentation as a screensaver. Oh, okay. I did see that. Let's go. Yes, let's go, brother. Adekunle, how are you doing, my Niger brother? Temi Tope, I hope you're doing well. Second to like, Chelsea will finish second, you think? Okay, we'll see. Felix says, wakey, big up, coach. And everyone in the chat, yes, usually, again, it's not easy. Even though I slept bed early, it's still not easy to get and start the show like that because I still have to take care of the graphics and all the stuff that are necessary for the show to run smoothly. But that's, by the way, again, Jafet says, afternoon, y'all. Afternoon to you too, Jafet. I hope you're doing well. Hi, Abhinav says, hi to you too. Again, hello. Just a nightbot thing. Let me see if there's anything else to read here. I hope you all well. Okay. Werner is gone. Yes, Werner is gone. Two things will follow his departure. One, he gets to play in a league where he'd play in a position where he prefers to play. He'd always find space, to do well because that's who Timo Werner is. But we'll see. Again, I wish him well. He at Chelsea, even when he was underperforming, he still give 150%, and he could say that's why Chelsea fans love him. So him doing well is one factor that follows his departure. The other is he frees up the wedge bill of Chelsea Football Club. Then we can accommodate new players, pay them how much we think they're worth. So yeah, again, so thank you. I appreciate. Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. It's a good thing that he's leaving. It means quite a lot for the club. Says, let me see. Hello, Chelsea family. Hello to you too, Gidanga. Kachila, any letters on the young Fofana and Aubameyang? No, nothing yet. We're paying attention to it. If anything comes up, be rest assured this is one of the first places you'd see it. Again, yeah, it's still it's still on, but I'm paying attention to it on my update screen. If I see anything, I'll let you guys know immediately. And the Big Joe says, will Frenkie de Jong actually join Chelsea? I cannot guarantee that. It's everywhere. If you paid attention to what's out there, some rumors say that he's staying. He's most definitely staying at Barcelona. He's going to sort out the issue he has with them because he likes to play for Barcelona. And then we'll see some conflicting reports. One says, okay, his agent and the player and his camp overall wants to stay and slug it out with Barcelona, given how much they're owing him. And actually, but the truth is, the whole situation has actually taken a very dangerous turn in the sense that we're hearing that the process for his current contract was fraudulent, which means he's being accused of participating in a fraudulent activity too. So, but we'll see what happens. Again, I want him to come to Chelsea Football Club. I know some people think otherwise, but we will follow the story as it happens, and we'll see what happens. Again, any update on Frenkie de Jong and Aubameyang? Yeah, we're looking at it. Aubameyang, he hasn't progressed that much either, because here's the case. Barca, they've always, it's no secret that they only want to sell only one of Aubameyang or what's his name, Memphis Depay. And again, so if and it's looking like the Depay's his own case is coming to a conclusion because they're trying to negotiate. They're trying to find a common ground to terminate his contract so he will leave on a free. They've been talking about that, and we heard a few days ago that his own case was close to, coming to conclusion, but we haven't heard anything yet. So again, does that really mean even if he leaves, even if Memphis Depay leaves, does that really mean they're not going to sell Aubameyang? No, that's not the case. If Memphis Depay leaves, which means they'd fight even more to keep Aubameyang, which also in turn means if we're going to get him, we'd have to pay something, that we wouldn't have paid under normal circumstances to get him because they value him. We're talking about the same guy who scored 11 goals in 17 games when he joined them. Aubameyang is a fine finisher anytime, any day, but we'll follow the story and see as it develops. If we see anything, if anything new emerges, be rest assured I will share it with you because my update screen is open and I have my eyes on it. Abhinav says, I'm tired of this Fofana and FDJ thing. So to be honest, again, we want them. The pursuit of the players and how relentless we're being. The first or second bids are rejected and we're still going in with a third one, which will most definitely be, again, a world record fee for a defender. It's looking like it's going to happen. Match host Trends TV says, hi, Kuchila. Hi to you too, brother. I hope you're doing well. And here we have, Abhinav says, we are sticking to these players too much because we want them, because we understand their quality, and because of the situation we found ourselves in. Again, we don't have no other options. It's not like we have the luxury to pick and choose who to go for. There aren't too many players available. So the ones that are available, and the clubs know that we're desperate, especially when we're talking about the defensive look, when we're looking at players in the defensive area. So yeah, again, it is where we found ourselves, and we have to deal with it, which means we have to overpay for players we want. Salome Akunfuma says, Jalen, who the Young isn't a good enough a solution. Please, Chelsea, don't bring him. Again, it all comes down to what the manager wants and not what we want. I think we've talked about that a million times. Again, we're the ones that have actually called for the manager to be backed. And if that's exactly what what Chelsea Football Club are doing right now, why are we complaining? We shouldn't be behaving like that. Again, Glenn says, big up coach and chat, not you, Nightbot. Now you're fighting with a robot, Glenn. But that's, by the way, again, says, yeah, exactly. Says, let me see what he says. Frenkie still insists on staying. Pretty much same situation, but some fans cheered and told him to stay on the way to training as suggested to show that not all are toxic. Yeah, the truth is not all fans are toxic, but there are other situations you have to look at. I don't know if Frenkie himself is paying attention to that. It was Lolo who brought that to my attention. The fact that you guys, that the way you play, he doesn't really fit your system, and it does make sense to a certain measure. So yeah, I think he'd be better off leaving. And I'm hearing he does well when he plays in a double pivot, and you guys don't play like that. So it just doesn't make sense for him to stay. But that's, by the way, so otherwise he'd always find himself in positions where he doesn't like to play. It's as simple as that. Let's see what else we have here. Again, yep. Says, is there any midfielder who will be suited for Chelsea? There are a couple out there, and I'm interested in a particular profile of midfielder. You could say in the mold, maybe anything close to Cesc Fabregas would be immense for us because the numbers of our midfielders in the past 3-4 years and nothing to write home about. It's been poor in terms of assists and goals. So those things goals needs to come from the midfield. We need to see more assists from the central area of our play, not just from the flanks. Because if the goals, the chances we create all come from the flanks, then we'll be very, very predictable, and it will be easy to stop us. But when the chance creation comes from the flanks and comes centrally, then it will be a bit difficult for the opposition to be able to predict where our chances are going to come from. So yeah, I'm really concerned. I want us to find midfielders who are able to create, even if when they are deployed as a deep as the 2-6s, they still be able to create chances for the attacking players. Kovacic has shown that he's capable of creating chances from deep. But then again, he only does that when we play against teams that play high line. So there are spaces in behind for the players that he's creating the chances for to run in. But he hasn't done that consistently too. Maybe you could argue because not all teams, we don't find the spaces in behind all the teams that we play against, especially in the Premier League, where most of the teams defend deep. Again, but that's, by the way, we have 122 people watching. And if you're watching, please keep liking the video and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. I truly appreciate that. The likes do go along with the channel. Let's shoot again. The record we haven't broken is 400 likes. Let's shoot for 400 likes today. We've broken the 300 likes record, but we're stuck there. But I really do want us to break that one. If we can, it will be fun. And Felix Okichukwu, when they say, is Frenkie going to Chelsea? We want him. We're pushing for him. In fact, if you see the news, how it's phrased, that Thomas Tuchel and Todd Boehly are both in love with Frenkie de Jong, but the situation isn't easy. Barcelona owe him money. He seriously wants to stay. They want him to take a pay cut to stay if he really wants to stay, and we want him. So we're not sure what the player wants. It's like we're trying to save him, but does he want to stay? And we're not sure whether Barcelona really wants him out. We're not sure whether the player wants to stay, or maybe he's saying he wants to stay because they owe him money. That's not clear. We can't tell what's really going on with the Frenkie de Jong situation. It's everywhere, and it's a confusing situation. I'd have to be honest with everybody that's paying attention. Saying, let me see. Nightbot isn't human. It's a machine. It's been programmed to pay attention to certain words, to say hello to you when you say something like that. Is in 9 hours. Okay, I'm not watching now. And is it possible to sign Pedri or Gavi if Frenkie said he will stay at Barcelona? You're talking about all the players. Pedri, you're talking about all the players you could argue that are better suited for the way they play than Frenkie de Jong himself. So those aspects are actually no-go areas, if you ask me. Hello, everyone. A daily reminder that Frenkie de Jong is not that creative and it's not world-class. You have every right to argue that, but let me just put it this way to you. I think it's better than some of the players we have in the positions where it's looking like that's the reason we're trying to get the player. But that's, by the way. Let's see what else we have here. Frenkie still wants to stay. Pretty much the same situation. Fans were seen cheering him and urging him to stay on his way to training yesterday as a protest to some recent toxic fans comments. Again, I get your argument. The question I want to ask you, really, does he really fit the way you play? I think Lalo explained that to us. Explained that to us yesterday very well. That the question, you guys don't play with 2-6s all the time, and I haven't really paid attention to that. So, do you actually play with 2-6s at any time? I don't think so. Let me know if that's the case. Again, so does it make sense for him to stay? It doesn't. Otherwise, he'd be playing in positions that he hates to play, which is to play as a central defender. Even though he can fulfill that role very well, if you ask me, I'd say he'd rather play in the midfield area than that place. Then FDJ recently had a child. Could be a big reason why they want to stay in Spain. When family is involved, it's that hard. Tell me about it. Again, in the United States, I've moved to like 3 states. You could say 90% of the time, and I'd argue I don't really want to move. Well, yeah, when the child is involved, sometimes you have to. go where the wife wants you to go. So that's a good argument right there. So that may well be the case. If his wife is Spanish, maybe that's the reason. And plus, if he recently had a baby, maybe that's the reason why it's pretty difficult for him to look beyond the fact that Barcelona owe him money. The fact that you can argue he's been indirectly, accused of a fraudulent act. So maybe those things, it may well be the case, but there's no way to tell if in fact that's the case. But we'll follow the story and see. We'll see what happens. We need a defensive midfielder before anything else in midfield. Yep, you could argue that, but it doesn't look like Thomas Tuchel is really interested in getting a defensive midfielder. And by the way, big up to you, Mitch. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for finding the time to join us. Lalo was right, but Busquets will leave next season. So we could use a Frenkie in future as a double pivot. Maybe that's why Xavi also open to him staying. We can't tell, but this is a player. He is 25. It's not like he's 22 or 21. Then you could argue he should be patient for Busquets to leave. He's gone beyond that level. He needs to be playing. Moshi Sabeta, it's been a minute, brother. Where have you been? I hope you're doing it well. If we can get either Auba or Depay, then Fofana agrees my transfer hopes will be fulfilled. I'm not going to go into the Depay argument again because I'll just end up repeating myself again. But I would just say this: we don't need a DJ at the club. We need players. Okay. I believe FDJ stays at Barcelona, even if at this, even at his detriment. Wow, that's some serious comment there, brother. Would be painful. It would be painful is Chelsea waits. What would be painful is if Chelsea waits to no avail. Why not ramp up discussion for Matthews and Nunes or the next name on the list of CM alternatives? We're not sure what's going on, but the truth is more players will still come in. It's a foolish for the young to insist staying when you ain't wanted. There's no way to tell if it isn't wanted or not, but we'll see what happens. Again, it's a difficult situation to follow. Barcelona have sold 24.5% of Barca studios to Orpheus Media for 100 million, as they are now set to activate the fourth lever. Wow, economic lever. To be honest, again, coming to you, brother Rodrigo. How are you doing, man?
Yeah, all good, man. Yeah, big up to you, and big up to everyone in the chat. Yeah.
Big up to you too. Nice to join. You sound like you've dropped the keys to the panic bus. Is that the case, or maybe I'm just dreaming?
Yeah, it's keyless bus, so don't worry about dropping it. I haven't parked the bus yet, so I'm still driving. Until a right wing back walk through the door, maybe a Ford. I'm not really too fussed about midfielder. Please give me that right wing back to compete with Rich James.
Yeah, I get your argument. I'm surprised we haven't seen any right-sided defender coming in terms of the wing back area.
My fear
maybe they're looking at someone that we don't know, but we really did push for what's his name, the Netherlands international, the Dutch international. But it looks Dumfries. Yeah, it looks like that has died off.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about this Frenkie de Jong situation. It's looked like we were waiting for him to make a decision yesterday, and that hasn't happened. Wherever we're seeing out there, to me, sounds like people just making up nonsense to get clicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think? That doesn't look like he's decided either.
I think Frenkie de Jong is staying at Barcelona. There's more chance of him staying at Barcelona. I think.
So you're thinking we will beat Dembele?
Yes, I think we are being Dembele. Yeah, definitely.
Already.
Yeah. I think he will stay at Barcelona, and he will take a pay cut like the rest of them. They've got no moral, ethic, nothing. They will just take a pay cut, take a riot, getting used by the Barcelona board, and that's just how they are. Because for them, I don't know, they have this thing. They probably think Barcelona is more than a football club, it's a dream. But listen, it's a workplace. If a workplace is not treating you right, You
Yeah, it's a workplace first of all, but I don't know. Most people fail to see that. Go ahead.
to see that, and then they treat these as some sort of like more than a workplace, some sort of like he's like a listen. Barcelona are not treating you right. You should be moving. You should be either you get what you're owed, or you move away. You go to where you work in a better working environment. So if how the way I suspect is because I think his family, his probably his girlfriend want to stay there, and end of the day, having a 50% pay cut, I know for someone that earns so much money, it might. I don't know if it's gonna affect his living standard, but I mean, he could still live a pretty comfortable life. I don't see him leaving Barcelona. That just be honest. Yeah, I think we shouldn't put our hopes too high and try to get this guy in. No.
There is something that Glenn talked about. I don't know why I did not highlight that comment. It will be very difficult to find it right now. You know, again, moving isn't easy. Moving like from one location to other, even if to the other, even if it is within the same country, it's usually difficult.
Yeah.
Glenn says something about him recently having a baby, and if it's married and his wife is Spanish, that makes it even more difficult for him to move. So because the question, because this whole thing begs, the fact that the fraudulent contract that was talked about.
Yeah.
That we're hearing that he's going to the extent of suing Barca, plus Barca saying he has to annul that contract, then renegotiate his contract at the club, because that sounds like you're accusing him of participating in a fraudulent activity. So when you look at all those things, the abuse from some sections of the fan base, I have to be honest. Then you start asking your question, why is he looking beyond those things and still wants to stay at Barcelona? Because it sounds like he really does want to stay. Then if you see it from the other angle, you'd be hearing it's because they owe him. And his agents want because 17, say, hear me, Rodrigo?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, I think I don't know if it was my end or your end. It was frozen.
Yeah, I think it's my end. It's been happening even before you joined. So, so because the truth is, if you look at it, there is something beyond. There's something that's really pushing him to look beyond the abuse from some sections of the fans. Look beyond the fact that he's indirectly being accused of participating in a fraudulent activity, and all that. Look beyond that. They don't play a double pivot, which means in most cases it actually play in the defensive area or only come to replace Busquets whenever he isn't playing. So, yeah, and what do you think?
Yeah, like first of all, I want to say about the moving thing. Chelsea's a big institution. Don't get it wrong. Chelsea's a big institution. Chelsea will have dedicated people. Because we're spending 80 million. Maybe 75 or 71 million pound, whatever, on this guy. So we'll have dedicated people that will cater to all his needs. So if he has to move, he has to find an apartment. If his wife is about to give birth, whatever, they will have dedicated people to look after him. So that side is not like us simple people. When we move jobs from city to city, we have to think of how do I get a new flat? How do I do this? That wouldn't be a thing. You'll have people around the club, and maybe his agent can also organize that. I'm not really worried about that. In terms of why is he sticking there? Why is he sticking at Barcelona? Is it the money that he's owed? That I had the theory that he can't publicly say he wants to leave. So he's in that phase where Barcelona could potentially use that against him and say, right, you breached that contract. But then again, Barcelona have already said the contract that he signed is fraudulent. So it's very strange. Like, you think logically, this is what should have happened. Logically, De Jong should have said, right, listen, you're taking me for a ride. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go to where I feel like I can progress in a nice working place environment. This is baffling me. I just don't understand why a guy like this, of his potential, can stick around a club that let's be honest, don't really respect him. They don't want to honor the contract that he signed. It's not his problem that the previous Barcelona board gave him a ridiculous salary. That's for Barcelona to deal with it. He's just an employee there. but the way they're treating him, and now you want to sue Barcelona. So how long is, you know how slow the judicial system works? So that is slow. So is he gonna stick around until he get an answer to them, or he could move to a different club, still pursue those legal actions against Barcelona? It's strange. This is what I feel like. Everything is pointing to him staying at Barcelona and taking a pay cut.
Yeah, I think it's looking like he will stay. If he comes to us, I'd be surprised. Like we've talked about before, the argument is that we will be Dembele. Excuse me, and it's looking like that's going to be the case. Let me try and catch up with the chat. If I come back, then we'll switch to the next topic. Matt says, I understand now that it's not necessary for Frenkie to leave for us to register. As things stand, after fourth leaver, but he must leave if we are to sign Bernardo Silva. Don't know if any hope for Chelsea. Again, if you guys really want him to leave, I think you end up pushing him out. Again, I do believe deep down that Laporta wants a player to leave. The salary is a problem, and he doesn't really fit the way they play at this point. As long as Busquets is available, I think it's really no place for him at Barcelona. But I think it goes beyond what we're seeing. It goes beyond what we know. What's going on goes beyond what we know. It's as simple as that. Let me see how quickly I can catch up with the chat so we can switch topics. Pedri, Gavri, ETC are likely a family untouchable, not going anywhere. I know that already, and actually more suitable to the way you guys play than De Jong himself. De Jong is a good player. You can't take anything away from him. Again, but that's, by the way, they played with 2 6s when Coleman was there. So that was why, Coleman actually was busy signing all his countrymen, if you ask me. 2 6s when Ronald Koeman was there, and built around him due to the national team connection. Yet he got only 5 assists last season. Not worth it. Again, I get your argument. They say one man's food is another man's poison. I think if De Jong comes to Chelsea, he will do well. I really do want him to come. It's Frenkie, not Frankie. Okay. Thank you very much. Issa Minus. I like your name so much. Woo. Issa Minus. It sounds like I want to say what? What? Sorry.
Is that Essa Mano? Is that what?
Essa Mano? Oh, no S. Okay. Is this Spanish?
Yeah, it means that hand.
Oh, okay. Fofana's height and composure will really benefit us. His overall playing ability. I'm not just going to bank on his height and everything. So right now, I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. Except if I see anybody I haven't said hello to, if there's anything I want to, I like to, address. Matt says Marcus Alonso announcement expected soon. Okay, which means whether the player, non-registered players, isn't really an issue. Hopefully, they're able to register even Andres Christensen, because if you guys don't, there's a chance he comes back to Chelsea and he divides opinions seriously, especially in the manner that he left the club and his interview when he was introduced at Barcelona. So bad. I'm not going to get into that again. I want to say big up to the Queen of the House, Just Viola. Nice to see you here. I hope you're doing well. Is Dembele to Chelsea still on? Are you really kidding me? Or you're just joking, right? Okay. Good morning, Blue fans. I said yesterday that I see FDJ staying at Barcelona, but I cannot blame the dude, because there are reports that FDJ's girlfriend begged him to stay because she enjoys life at Barcelona, probably a Spanish citizen, but we'll see what happens. Again, that's no guarantee that he stays, because the saga isn't over yet. We're still waiting for that to happen. So I'm going to scroll to the very bottom so we can switch to the next topic. And if I miss any of your contributions, apologies. Says, King A, how can someone not be wanted and want to stay so much? The young and going and got no pride, all at all, almost embarrassing. Again, you have the right to see it that way, but the truth remains. Let's look at the situation. Again, from the fact we said there are other factors that we don't know that's making him look beyond the abuse, look beyond the fact that they're owing him, look beyond that the fact he's currently indirectly being accused of being involved of involving in a fraudulent activity. So it's not that simple. So let's not just start calling him names or judge him because of what we're seeing from outside. We don't really know what's going on there. Let me see what else he said. Rogers, that there had been two from Chelsea, but neither. Again, we'll get to Fofana in a beat. Chelsea Blue says Barca have their fourth lever already. So best we just forget FDJ. This process will take too long. We need a midfielder. Again, the argument is Barca don't really want to keep him. The money has never alone. That is the problem. Isn't just money alone. He doesn't fit their project at this point. They don't play with 2 6s anymore, except for under Ronald Koeman, whom also, you can argue somebody in the chat already argued because he's accommodating him because with its relationship with their national team. But that's, by the way, again, I want the player to come to us, and there's a possibility it still happens, but we may well be Dembele again. Maybe Frenkie likes life there. BG's just down from a boss city, busy city, so to speak. Sorry,
I wanted to say about midfield. We don't need a midfielder. We just went for Frenkie de Jong. If he's not Frenkie de Jong, I don't think Chelsea is signing a midfielder. So people need to change. It's not like it's one of those ones where, all right, a player came on the market and you target him, that specific player. I don't think Chelsea are in the market to sign a midfielder. I don't know if that makes sense. Is they only in to sign either Frenkie de Jong or we go in the season with what we have? I think that's probably how it's gonna go down. Because I hear people say Chelsea need to move on. We're not gonna move on. It's not like a centre back where we're actually going actively looking for centre backs. And when Koundé was dragging on, we could say, yeah, see, we're gonna move on. But in this case, Chelsea, I don't think they're actively looking to buy midfielders. They're just looking at this guy whose potential is quite big and is potentially available on the market. So we're going for him. If he doesn't work out, I honestly don't think Chelsea are going to buy in midfielder. So I just wanted to put it out there.
Yeah, it's a great point. And this from Josh Viola. Thank you very much. Just to educate us on his marital status, he says, I took the trouble of looking this up on Wikipedia. FDJ met his fiancée, again, Miki Kiameni, in high school, and they have been dating since 2014. The couple became engaged in July 2022. So now, again, it's not like his wife is Spanish, maybe, but it can, thank you very much for that. I sincerely do appreciate that. And I read somewhere that she's pregnant. Okay. FDJ will stay at Barcelona. It's looking like that will be the case. Felix says playmakers like Casemiro, is that the Real Madrid player? Sure. I wouldn't call him a playmaker, but our definition of playmakers differ. Rodri are the profile missing in the midfield. They are strong guys who stays in front of their defenders, and they have a good impact physically too. I'm looking at more than just physicality. I'm looking for midfielders who will consistently provide assists, orchestrate defense, splitting passes to create more chances for our attacking players. Because the truth is, if we create more chances, then the more the goals will score. Again, but some people argue, we created enough chances. No, we have to create double that number to score more goals. It's as simple as that. But that's, by the way, here we have I'd rather put all our eggs into convincing KCA to join rather than getting that Stormy Ekmatch and Christensen. But KCA, both players, and I think Barcelona will end up, registering them both. So there's no chance us getting them. Again, let me just say hi to some people, and then I will scroll to the very bottom and we'll switch a topic. Here's the beautiful game says FDJ's girlfriend needs to put a ring on it before she starts making demands. But they've done that already. If you paid attention to the comment we read, the Bluetooth game, I hope you're doing well. MC Rats, I see you. I will get to you in a bit. I've been up. I think I've said hello to you, Kim. So Kim says, Young, have you made your mind up yet? No, it doesn't look like he has, or maybe he has for a while. We're just pushing a lot, trying to see if we can get them to join us. But that's, by the way, again, if you're watching, we have 154 people watching and we have 53 likes. If you haven't, please do take a second to like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for finding the time to join. It says, I don't want to lie. Barca won't be able to satisfy all those players with the depth they have. They have to offload at least 2 or 3 to try and balance the money problems. It's as simple as that. They've triggered another economic lever. It helps them to a certain point, but they're not going to keep doing that forever. So yes, they'd like to, shift out some players, to create space for themselves, to be able to accommodate new players and to be able to manage the salaries of their players. So it's the situation isn't that simple. So I'm gonna just I'm gonna open up. Let's talk about this guy here. Just one second. Let me start by asking you. I saw something, referring to him as a generational talent. How do you define a generational talent? If you're in the chat, let us know what counts as a generational talent for you.
Yeah, generational talent. That is one of those things. Those words like world class. Those sort of words that get thrown about. There's no really for me, generational talent is. I think so far they haven't been in since Messi came out. I don't think there's been any generational talent as such. Maybe Mbappe. Mbappe has been one, and Haaland. So for me, are people that actually define. It's hard. That define they're like the best players in their position. It's not just the best player in their position. It's like an extra word. It's that extra thing they've done at a young age that everyone just went, wow, this player is going to be big in football. You can tell Messi when Messi started, when he made his debut, and when he started playing for Barcelona, you just knew it. You just could see this kid is going to go places. When Mbappe came through Monaco in that Champions League run and then to the World Cup, was a teenager. I think only 2 teenagers have scored in the World Cup final, him and Pelé. So you could see like this guy's generational. And then with Haaland, you can see his goal scoring prowess from Salzburg, from Dortmund. You could see this guy is almost breaking he's gonna break a record by the time he get to his prime. Apart from those 3 players, it's hard for me. Or Cristiano Ronaldo, obviously. It's hard for me to see generational talent. Like that is tough. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't seen many generational talent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but him talking about Fofana is an unbelievable talent. If that's another word we can come up with, he's a very, very, very good defender. I would say, if it means we have to break the bank, and we can afford to do that, by all means, let's do it. If it means we need to pay 80 million pounds to get this guy in, let's do it, because what we're gonna get is an unbelievable talent. Like, for me personally, when they used to play for Saint Etienne, Imens and Saliba, obviously Saliba is the guy at Arsenal. Saliba was always seen as the best defender, and rightly so. He's a very good defender. But I felt like he was better for Fofana. And he's proven in the Premier League. He's very, very good. He's good at progressing the ball. He's got good height, and he's very strong in challenges. He's not afraid. Probably why he's got a few injuries, but he's not afraid to go into challenges. And I think he can play in a back 3. In a back 3, it will look even better because he'll have a lot of protection. So he can play in the back 3, in the back 2. I could just imagine a pairing of him and Koulibaly in the back 2. What a pairing. In a back 3, you have Koulibaly, Fofana, Thiago Silva. That is a very good defense. So, and you can hear now the...
So let me ask you this. I get your argument, and you don't think of paying that much money will be a problem?
No. But if the club, obviously, it's all about balancing books. If the club think, yes, there's no problem, and if I'm not in the boardroom, and I can see like we can still be okay in terms of finances and budget, then we should do it. I don't see. I personally wouldn't. If the club see like 80 million is good, I don't see that as a problem personally.
No, I
So
don't see it as a problem either. But let's be a bit. Let me say, let's be a bit objective here,
okay,
because no matter how you see it, the price tag on a player can be a burden too.
that's the problem. Yeah, because we don't know when Leicester didn't sign him for big money. He didn't come to the Premier League with big reputation, so he was afforded that time where maybe if you watch his game, if you scrutinize his game, you might find one or two things that he should improve on. Because Leicester didn't spend that much money, he wasn't magnified. He comes to Chelsea, £80 million. The small things that he wasn't getting it perfectly at Leicester, at Chelsea, they're gonna be magnified. Everyone will be talking about him, the mistakes, and I don't know how mentally he is. We can say he's mentally strong coming back from an injury, training hard, coming back and try to bring back to his level. But it's a different type of pressure when you're the £80 million man. You know, you're the most expensive centre back in the Premier League history. So every single mistake that you make, rival fans, and it seems like he's a young guy. You can tell he's on social media. You can tell by changing his social media status, posting his Chelsea. His friend posted that and he liked it. You can see someone who's active on social media. An £80 million man, if he makes any mistakes in the game, rival fans, Chelsea fans will go for his neck. So I don't know how mentally strong he is. Like, is he gonna cope with that? That's another aspect, because you can't just drop £80 million on a kid. I understand that point of view, but for me, from a fan perspective, like, I want Chelsea to have the best, and I believe we can go up to £80 million. We can afford it, and we should do it. But I understand the cons of it. Like, we can't just go blind, rosy. Like, life doesn't work like that.
Yeah, again, if you're in the chart, again, I asked the question. Let me know, do you think, I think I'll put up a poll too. Do you think Wesley Fofana is a generational talent? Again, it's just some people suggesting that. Here's the thing I want to say is this. Generational talent, I don't think it makes sense to say a player is a generational talent when
Oh,
they're
yeah, you're cutting. You went.
Yeah, okay, can you guys hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm having a connection issue, but I'll try some. I don't know. I've actually reached out. But here's my point: is this? I don't think it makes sense to say a player is a generational talent. And again, especially somebody like Fofana. How old is he again? 21, 22?
I think he's 22 years old.
Okay, even if it's 23, even if it's 24, his career is barely starting. He hasn't achieved anything. I think before defining a player as a generational talent, you'd have to wait to maybe, at a certain point where you can say, okay, they're nearing there.
You don't have to wait. You know, when Mbappe came up, you knew it. You knew instantly. You can just see this guy is. But I guess you waited. We saw how he performed in the World Cup. Then we just fair enough. I can see what you mean. Yeah. But when he came up,
exactly. It doesn't really make sense. What if what Mbappe has achieved so far, and something happens for some reason that we cannot fathom, he's not able to go beyond the level at which he's right now, or even achieve more. And even after everything, what has he achieved? If he ends up just achieving League R trophies and all that, and no Champions League, no World Cup and all that, would you still say he's a generational talent? I don't think so. I think you have to factor in the person's achievements too, because if you can't back up your talent with achievement, it just doesn't make any sort of sense. So saying a player is a generational talent when their career is barely starting, to me, doesn't make sense. I think their achievements in terms of what they're able to achieve with their ability, with their talent, you can now look at it and say this guy is a generational talent, not when they're barely starting their career. That's how I see it. Maybe if you're saying if they, has a capacity, again, maybe they're showing signs. You can say they may well be. You could predict they have the capability to show that they are one. I don't think it makes sense to define a player as one when even Mbappe is. You can't say. I'd argue Mbappe isn't one yet.
He is. He's
really, what makes him a generational talent?
Yeah, he's the only two teenagers that have scored in the World Cup final. Him and Pelé, and the World Cup run, he was instrumental. Him, Kante, and Pogba. Those three players were instrumental for France to win the World Cup. He performed in every.
So that makes him a generational talent for you.
Yeah. For his age, how he came up, and he proved that he's been like, obviously for his club he plays in League 1. So you.
Mm. How about Rafael Leão? Would you say he's a generational talent already?
No. I wouldn't say he's generational talent. No. Not yet. No. I wouldn't call him that. Because he hasn't done anything. He hasn't done anything. He's done all right one season. He's won the Scudetto. He hasn't done anything with Portugal, and he's on an up. He's an up and coming young talent. But I wouldn't put it generational talent. No way. No. I wouldn't put him there. No.
Okay, let me see. Let's look. Yeah, I get your argument. Go ahead. You were saying something, but I'll look for some definitions in the chat with some people. Go ahead with what you're saying, Daniel.
Basically, I disagree with what you're saying there, buddy. Basically, Rafael Leão, when he was at Portugal in the Euros last year, he played quality for them. The balls assists he done for like to put Ronaldo in a box. The way he plays, man, it's outstanding. The things he does for the ball, coach, he dribbles, he can take players on, he knows how to pass the ball, he knows how to set the ball up. He could do wonderful things, and since he's a kid, when he was in the
you're talking about Rafael Leão, right?
Yeah, Rafael Leão. When he was a kid, when he was in the academy for AC Milan. He was banging goals for them when he was like 16, 17 for the academy.
He's not generational yet, bro. So you said Pedri generational for Barcelona. They are very good young players, but they're not generational. Like, not yet. You can't. That's a heavy word, bro.
No, but Bob, when he was in the academy, he was classy in the academy, mate. It's just things he could do. And how old is he now? Like 22, 23? And now he's at 21, and now he's at AC Milan, and he's put his name to it for himself. He's class now, man. It's world class. The things I've watched him play for AC Milan Saturday after the Chelsea game. Watched him play live, and the way he was doing like things, what he did, it was just incredible.
I'll come back to IBZ, and thank you for that contribution there, Daniel, to ask him this question. And here's a response from Esamano. He says, got to love Gogo. Generational talent means somebody who dominated an era. Pele and Maradona, Messi and Ronaldo, interesting as they shared an era. The English language. Yeah, again, that's another way to put it. But I think this in a way, reiterates my point that you cannot say a player is a generational talent until you are able to tally, maybe at the point towards the end of their career, to look at everything they've achieved. Exactly. And it just makes sense. They have to dominate an era, because you're saying generational. If they dominate a certain generation, be one of the best at that point, then you can classify them as a generational talent. But if anybody is, again, I don't know if you get the argument, but I think this in a way reiterates my argument on what we define, what we call generational talent. Maybe it's looking like it depends on who you ask. You wanted to say something, Rodrigo?
Yeah, and coach, I think whenever we talk about generational talent, there's always a bias against defenders. I always feel sorry for defenders. Because look, that person just put Maradona, Pele, Ronaldo, Messi. Where are the defenders? They don't get that recognition because they don't see as a. Because what would you say is a generational defender in the past?
If you ask me, I'd pick what's his name, the Italian. He actually won Ballon d'Or too.
Cannavaro.
Chile.
Cannavaro, yeah, he
What about
deserves it.
Yeah.
Even without the Ballon d'Or, if you ask me that, I'd pick him. Again, you can argue he dominated an era, but that's why. Let me try and catch up with the chat. We'll look at all the definitions we have there. Then I'll come back. So we can. I want to get IBZ thoughts. Whether he thinks, some people are saying already that what's his name, Fofana is a generational talent. To me, I don't think you can say that yet. He's a good player. He has the potentials to become one in the future. But again, we'll see what happens. I'll come back in a bit. Surely there are other defenders out there. Chelsea just don't try hard enough to find them. Is that what you think? And then just Viola, just to complete what she had shared with us before. I again took the trouble of looking up Mickey Kameni. No, they're not married. I am literally stalking them now. Go ahead, do that. We like it. His proposal on just first. Okay, thank you. On Instagram, she has that link there. So if you want to go see it or maybe stalk the player even further, she has a link to his Instagram. Defenders don't reach their prime until later in their career. So you cannot really say a defender is a generational talent. Again, let's not stereotype there or maybe label. But I understand your definition there, and it makes perfect sense. Let me see if anything else is about the generational talent there. Believe it or not, Rodgers is one of the easiest managers to deal with. He always says no, but then puts a price tag on the player. He sold Suarez and Stalin as well as 35 other players in his career. Yeah, I get that. We knew before time that's him coming out saying that the player isn't for sale isn't really an issue. Fofana won't stay at Chelsea for 5 years. If Madrid comes for him, he's going to Madrid. His dream, trust me. Again, maybe we'll see him wearing a Madrid shirt too. You never know. But at least let him come. When that time comes, we will talk about it in a bit. Just give me a second. Hi, Kachila. What's up, my man? How are you doing, Olushola Surulere? How are you doing, bro? You are doing well, bro. But my major concern is that Chelsea seem, is it? How do you pronounce that?
I'm perturbed.
I'm perturbed.
I'm perturbed about their blonde and lethargic attack.
This guy.
Again, I don't know the word unperturbed. I don't know what it means. But again, lethargic here explains what you're talking about. I think they are concerned. We learned yesterday that Thomas Tuchel, he wants to reconstruct Chelsea's attacking area, which makes sense because it's all being one complaint, all the other from the attacking players. Either they complain and being played out of position, or some other complaint. But that's by the way. Thank you very much for joining us, people. If you haven't, we have 72 likes. If you haven't, please do take a second to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, thank you very much for all the support. Again, here's the definition. It says, in my opinion, a generational talent is a talented young player. Does the player has to be young? A talented young player who becomes mature for age versus their mates at junior level and can even do it at senior level, be a club or national level, even consistent of 4 ages. Generational. Pay attention to the word generational. Again, if you pay attention to that, I think you probably be you probably construct a better definition for it. Again, it's not that simple, but let me try and catch up again, see if I find any of the definition there in the chat. If not, we'll come back. I'll get IB's thoughts on that. Let's say anything else. He is too young for a generational talent because you have to dominate as the generation. Except if you want to remove the word generational from it, yeah, then again, then it will make sense if you're talking about the age and them being young. Everyone is saying wife, girlfriend, fiancé, so I at least cleared that up. Yeah, good job. So IBZ, coming to you. Do I have any other definition here? Let me see. 1 second. From Quad CS says Chelsea will end up paying 100 million for him at this rate. I don't think we'd do that. If we pay that, then yeah, I'd be surprised. I'm also a generational talent because I drive the panic bus. Yeah, generational talent, panic bus driver. Yeah, congratulations to you. A generational talent is someone like Pele, Maradona, Messi, Ronaldo. Yep, they've done it, been there, seen that, done it, dominated a generation. A period of time. You can classify it as a generation. I think that makes more sense to me. I'm going to come to you, IBZ. Your thoughts? How would you define a generational talent?
Big up, everybody.
Big up to you too, brother. Pardon my bad manners. I hope you're doing well.
Big up to you, bro. Big up to you, bro.
Yeah, man. Sorry. Generational talent. You see that word, yeah? It comes once. It comes very, very few. I don't throw that word around a lot, and I think a lot of people do that with quite a few hot talents or prospects. I believe if you're a generational talent, yeah, you would have been identified to showcase that talent to the world at a very tender age because you're generational. You're one in a generation. We've never seen anything like this. So I believe, be it not just football, be it anything, singing, entertainment, movies, sports, anything. If you're a generational talent, you are exceptional in this talent that has never been seen at any age group before, and that needs to be showcased. And in football terms, there's only a few players that I think I can count on my hand that are generational. When you look back on, in my opinion, Maradona and Pele, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, and in our generation or in the generation we are in for the youngers, I believe you argue Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland. Those are what I call generational talents. I don't believe we will see a striker in the age range of 20 to 30 right now that is scoring at the rate of Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland. Name me one. The numbers of Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Name me one person that was born between the 80s and in that era, between that's doing what those two have done. You can't name it. You can't name it.
Let him land. I have a question for him, actually. Go ahead.
There'll be players that will aspire to do that, but to break the numbers, to break the records that these guys have done, they have changed the dynamics of the sport we are invested in. Likewise, Lionel, Pele, and Maradona. So generational talent, I can't throw it out all of it. In my opinion, it's very few and far between. I believe you have the potential to do that. I believe if and that potential can only be garnered at a young age. You can't garner at say 25 because of the profession may not allow you to have that so many years to express this generational talent that you have, albeit it might not even be generational. It might just be, for the amount of years you have. Say if you don't get to your talent, let's say you're at 25 and we don't unlock your best till from 25 to 30, that's not generational because you could have done that from when you were 18 to the age of 35. So if you look at Messi's been in this since he was 17, 18. If it correct me if it's even younger, but he's been doing this for since the whole of my adult life, since I was a teenager. So I believe that is generational. Likewise, Cristiano Ronaldo, and I haven't seen any other footballer that is still doing this to this day. Everyone else has retired or fallen off. Okay, yeah, you could throw in the mixes of like Zlatan Ibrahimovic and what have you, but what is what you've attained in that. What awards have you attained in that period? In a matter of 20 years, Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo has dominated this sport, and I don't know any other footballer that has done that. And they've done that at such a young age to now. That is generational. So I understand with Fofana, but with Defender, I don't believe it's unfair, but it is what it is, I believe, because because football matches are based on winning goals and winning games. How do you win games? You score goals. So the people that score the goals are the ones that are going to get the attentions in this. So defenders, there are so many very good defenders who have been quote unquote generational, the Maldinis, the Upstams, the Sai's, John Terry's, Ferdinand's, Vidic. There's so Cannavaro's, Nesta. There's so many of them, you know. But which one of them can you compare to a Messi's impact, or Ronaldinho's impact, or a Shevchenko's impact? You know, you can't really compare. So to call them generational talent, it would be very, very hard. The argument's not really there. As opposed to attackers or goal scorers will be the ones that will get that limelight. It does. This is just in my opinion. But yes, notwithstanding, defenders will get that recognition of, oh yeah, he's really good. Like Van Dijk now. Van Dijk has probably been they've perceived Van Dijk to be the next best thing since what have you. But because of his age, you can't call him generational, because if he was generational, would have snapped up Van Dijk from way back and he'll be winning trophies from way back. But he's been identified as very good talent, he's worked his way up. He's always been rated since Celtic, Southampton have highly rated there, and then it is what it is where we are. The rest is history, so to speak. And he's a good talent, but players like Van Dijk won't be generational. Fofana has the potential to be generational, but I believe that time is running out, because he's at an age where you only have 9-10 years in a game. You got to be killing. You got to be moving houses if you're going to be wooing a generation at your age, playing in that position. And he ain't really done it yet. He's got the talent to, but he ain't really done it yet. So I'll leave that to attackers if you're going to ask me who generational talent, because they actually make a difference by scoring goals or changing the game, or creators like, let's say, Xavi and Iniesta. You know what I mean? That's how I see it.
Here's what I think. This one from Adekunle Temitope. I'm not being biased here. I'm Nigerian born, but I'm not picking this as the most comprehensive definition of generational talent. He says that there's no generational talent until potential has been proven consistently by his achievements and impact on his team, the game, and just to add to it, at the length of a given generation.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. When you say Messi and Ronaldo, I'll be honest with you, I'll be looking at Messi since I was in secondary school. I am now a man. I'm a man now. I was in secondary school seeing this guy kill it. I am now a man seeing this guy kill it, albeit his age, but I've seen him kill it till now. That's a long time. It's not like he did it in a stint while I was just in secondary school. He has done it throughout my whole life. I've been seeing this guy on television, him and Ronaldo killing it. No one else. Winning awards, killing it.
We know how do you define obviously we know a generation in normal conversation. A generation, I think people tend to say, is between 30 and 25 years, right?
Yeah, it is.
And in football terms, you can't say that because
no, you can. You say.
No, you can. Look up the definition of. Let's start by this. Do you know what? We started talking about this because of the argument.
That is why it's generational.
Yeah, some people are already saying that Fofana is a generational talent.
I don't think generational talent. What has he done since he's come out?
Exactly, and here is generation.
Who can we compare to at his age? Who can you compare to when he was a legend at his age that is doing the same numbers or the same things? What inkling do we get that he's a generational talent? Like he's the second coming. Has he got an ounce of John Terry in him? Can you see it? Can you see Desai in him? Can you see Nesta in him? Can you see all these legends?
We'll come to Fofana.
I'm just saying that, like, I'm not saying he hasn't got it. I'm not saying he hasn't got the potential to do it. But I'm just saying, for him to be called generational talent, I believe he would have had to have a standpoint bigger than where he is right now. Not to say he's not going to do it or he hasn't got the potential, but right now he's just got bags of ability and talent, not generational. God damn it, he's the best you've seen all your life, or potential to be the best you'll see for the next 10 to 15 years.
It's going to be another Desai.
Here's the thing, let's clear this and we'll move on for it. Look at the definition of generation here. If you can see my screen, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, it says all of the people born and living at about the same time are regarded collectively. So the word generational, which means you have to dominate people of your age group born at that point when you're still playing, you're still alive, until completely. You see the definition there. So I wouldn't say yet Mbappe is a generational talent. And look at this. Look at this definition on the screen. He says there's no generational talent until potential has been proven consistently by his achievement and impact on his team.
Consistently, that word is very consistently. Like you can
exactly throughout like a certain generation. So it cannot just go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off, coach. Not just no worries. Forget football. Let's say like a young mathematician, a young spelling bee. Like for him to dominate his whole peers not to say he'd probably be the best in the world, what have you, but to dominate his whole peers and go into a championship and dominate that spelling bee, but he is consistently proven that he can articulate those spellings. He's proven consistently he can articulate those equations. A young ballet dancer, she's consistently putting top-notch performances that she will continue. Singing, Michael Jackson, consistently.
So overall, IBZ, would you argue now that Fofana is a generational talent?
No way. Because he's 21, right? He's 21, right? Arguably, if he was generational, I'm sorry, the big heads would have caught this guy from way back. They would have nurtured him, and he would be playing first-team football right now for Real Madrid, right now for Manchester City, right now for Liverpool, right now for any big club. He would be doing it right now as a key man because his talents will be
that's true.
His talents will be so immense, so generational that we have not seen anything like this in his age group. This guy needs to be playing at the highest team right now. That is generational. He's not doing so.
Yeah.
They did that with Lionel Messi. They saw that this kid
He's 22
right
now.
here,
He's 22 now for Fofana.
this kid right here, they say that this kid right here, Lionel Messi, is going to change the world, and we need to put him at the top right now because this kid's talent is unbelievable. He's providing this consistently, and Lionel Messi did that consistently from 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Before I go out of breath, we've been hearing this guy do it. So
but Messi didn't do good last season, though.
No, oh my God!
No, forget about how he did last season. Here's the thing. Let's just move on. Let's just move on from the. Again, this is not an English class. Calm down. Let's move on. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about Messi. Since you talked about Messi, Daniel, Messi is very unique. We've never seen anything like him.
He's world class, coach. He's world class.
He's not world class. He's a legend. You will never.
I say, let me have a speech quick for you. Yeah, right. Yes, he's a legend. Yeah, but he didn't do nothing much. That what Ronaldo did more goals last season.
Last season.
But
they should have retired by now. How about that?
Yeah.
How about that? They should have retired by now. How about that?
He should be retired. Yeah, but he's still. Yeah, they should be retired, but they're not.
All right, you know what? Let's move on from that. This is listen. I think you know what. Listen. Can I say something quickly? Let me say something quickly. The new channel, the sister channel, which will cover football and everything, launches in a few days. It's not up to 6 days actually. I think I'll make this a topic. So let me catch up with the chat. We'll move on. But what I was saying about Messi, for instance, is dominated. You could say for a whole generation, and probably. May well, again, there will never be another Messi. And he's done that. He did it consistently. Even if he's, slowing down right now, it doesn't matter. He's proven that he's a generational talent. But that's, by the way, and again, the Blue Toffee game says, can you really label a player a generational talent when they are less than halfway through their career? I think that's how I should have put my argument in the first place. Because you can't just... They're not even halfway through their career. You don't have enough sample size if you're talking from a scientific perspective to say, okay, you've seen enough to say that this player is worth, being a level of the generational talent. So that makes a perfect sense. Leo is overrated by Chelsea fans. He's not even the best attacker in Serie A, so to speak. You could argue that if I score in a World Cup and I'm a generational talent, that fight is between you and Rodrigo. I'm not going to come in there. So, but that's, by the way, Ty, you come in. What do you think about Fofana? If you want to talk about whether he's a generational talent or not, you go ahead. But I'm concerned. Are you concerned about the price tag? If we pay anything 80, north of 75 million to 80, do you think it will affect his affect his performance? Because no matter how you see it, the price tag on a player, it does put some measure of pressure on them, no matter how confident of a player that person is.
The price has always been something of great concern to me, considering the fact that this whole debate of generational talent, it's something, and I think a lot of people throw the word generational talent out before seeing the player consistently over a couple of years. If they have one good season, they're saying, "Oh, they're a generational talent." The better things to say is he looks like a top prospect or somebody that in the future could become something good. You cannot say somebody's generational talent just because of one season, because that's one season, and one player at least has one good season in their career. So I think in that sense, probably that is thrown around a bit too easily. But for Fofana, for me, I don't see him as a generational talent. He's not something that we've never seen before. He has a lot of attributes of defenders that football lovers have seen in the past. And I mean, he's not at the same level as other defenders were when they were at his age or even younger. So I
put him
think
top 5. I put him top 5 in the Premier League.
that's debatable. That is controversial and that's debatable. But the price is starting to get ridiculous. And I mean, like I've been saying for the past 2 days, I've lost interest in this transfer because the longer it goes on, the more time we're wasting. And it's either we pay the price or we walk away. And at this moment, I am slowly saying we need to walk away and look at other options, because he's not the only defender in the Premier League, or he's not the only defender that's out there that you can go for, and maybe very cheap. But if it's a case where you want to build longevity, then maybe that is why there's this persistency of going for him, because he's young and he gives you some level of longevity. But at the same time, you have to think about what is best for the team, and continuously wasting time on a player where the club is in no rush to get rid of that player, despite them needing to sell players in order to buy or get some funds in order to buy. So for me, this thing is getting like it's becoming a big saga. It's becoming a big drama, and Leicester City have no willingness to really sell him like that, but they're open to selling him if the price is met. And right now, the price is not something I'm really a fan of.
All right, sorry, coach. Ty, do you reckon Saha is a genuine talent then?
Sorry?
What about do you think Saha is a genuine talent?
I have never seen him as that.
Go ahead, Dills, you can come in. Your thoughts on what we're at with the pursuit of Fofana. Again, we're hearing it has to take a world record beat to bring him in. Are you concerned?
I'm not concerned, because we're getting a player that is going to be here for the future. Look at his age. Yeah, people complaining about the price. But is he going to be like a Maguire? No, it isn't. Yeah. So
how sure are you?
Definitely sure.
I don't think he's going to be kicking his own teammates. I don't think he's going to do that.
100% sure he's not going to be like a Maguire. Shall I tell you why? Because Thomas Tuchel can set up defensive. Yeah. Remember what he done with Rudiger. Remember that. So and Fofana does remind me. Yeah. When he's on the ball, running on the ball, he reminds me of like a player, like a little Rudiger, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, the defensive part, I have no worries about Fofana coming in. No worries at all. Yeah? Because he's on a high level. He's played in the Premier League before. Yeah? Remember this. He's not coming from a foreign league. Remember that. So, when you're talking about levels, yeah? He's up there in the Premier League right now. Yeah? And I rate him highly. So, you don't want to come against my opinion? Cool. Think that. But all I'm saying is, the price tag is no problem. No problem. Yeah.
I agree to him. Coach. I agree to him because
let him finish. Let Dills finish.
Listen. People may say that the Chilwell situation it was never going to be like the Chilwell situation because of the injury. Because I was saying that to Ty. Because at first I thought, yeah, it's going to be like a it's going to be like a Chilwell situation. We're going to pay less. But no, Leicester are playing hardball. You get me? So with this situation, it can only go one way. 80 million, we'll see how they act. But with the 80 million, and if they say 85 for me is a bit too much, because you're looking at like they're saying an upper price for 85 million. Come on now. Like, let's be serious. This player is not worth 85 million. We all know that. Coming up near estimated to 90 million.
Let me understand where you stand, Dales. Are you saying, because you started talking, I asked you about the price, you said you're not concerned. How much are you not concerned about, and how much will be a problem for you?
85.
85 will be a problem, and how much wouldn't be an issue for you?
Because that is estimated near to 90 million.
No, I'm saying, like, how much? If we pay 80, are you going to be concerned?
No.
What's the difference?
The reason why that is because I think he's worth that price, not 85 million. No way.
But you said the estimation. You said 85 is you said 85 is the estimation of 90. But in that case, then 80 is the estimation of 85.
No, it's just
it's just 5 million.
No,
it's 5 million difference.
I think everybody on the panel is confusing me one way or the other. And look at this comment here. I think I'll highlight it.
Listen. We need centre backs. No. Hear me out. We need centre backs. We just lost 2 centre backs. Yeah. Everyone's saying about everyone's complaining about the price. But we just lost 2 centre backs. Let's be serious here. Yeah.
But we could get Christian back, because if Barcelona
no, we don't want him. Sorry, maybe you can start a new club. Let me do this quickly. Please, guys. Here, I think I'll highlight this comment because it's worth looking at. He says, Mitch says, you are confusing generational talent and generational player. You can be a generational talent and not end up being a generational.
I'm sorry, that's waffle. That's waffle.
To me, I think this makes sense to a certain measure, actually.
Yeah.
It
generational player and generational player. What's a generational player?
Yeah. You know what? I think we'll get back to it. But let me come back to you.
I'm sorry to say.
Yeah, let me start with you, Rodrigo, on this one. Rodrigo, are you still there? The question I want to ask, can you tell me a player where we feel like we've overpaid and they ended up showing us we didn't overpay, that they worth the money? Can you tell me from Fernando Torres to Alvaro Morata to Kepa Arrizabalaga? Kepa's case is different because he stayed on. Even when we think we overpaid for him, stayed on and then had the opportunity to redeem himself, if you want to phrase it that way. Look at those names. Tell me if at any time when we feel like we've overpaid for a player, or maybe we're panic, we panic buying them, buy a player. Have any of them really worked for us?
No, I want to go further than that, because we've been paying big money for players for quite a bit now. So
name a few. Let's talk about it.
Should I go on?
Yeah, go on.
Oh, yeah. No, I was gonna start from the beginning when we started paying big money for players. So we started in 2004. Our big spending, big 2003 actually. So
not really. We wasn't really spending that often.
No, I'm talking about Abramovich.
We wasn't spending often in Roman Abramovich's era.
No, we did.
No, we did.
No, what do you mean we did?
No. We did.
No,
I know we did. But I'm talking about recovering the squad. Yeah, recovering the squad to challenge even more. Yeah, you're talking about winning the league. Yeah, why don't we keep on carrying on the success after Premier League, winning the Premier League 1 year after? Because we got rid of, because we sold him. Like look at the likes of Andrew Schürrle. We paid a lot of money for him, right?
We didn't pay too much for Andrew Schürrle. You know what? Let Rodrigo finish. I will come to everybody one by one. Go ahead, Rodrigo.
Yeah, because I've been watching Chelsea for a long time. Since 2001. So I've that when I can talk about players that we signed in 2004 because memory is still there. So the first time we spent big money, I think Drogba, when we signed him, when we spent it was £24 million. It was seen at the time quite a big. I think it was a big transfer fee. So he worked out, and then we went on. Spent Shevchenko was another one. I think Shevchenko was one of the first players apart from Ferdinand, that a team paid more than £30 million for football player. It to an extent it worked out, but not to what we thought it would. We signed a player close to his end of his peak, because he was in his 30s and coming to the end of his career. And then we move on. The next one, I'm looking at landmark. Torres. Every time we sign these big players, there's either something that's happened to them in the previous season, or they're coming to an end of the career. Torres, I think that we didn't do our due diligence perfectly. If we did, we'd have known that this guy had a very hard knee injury, and because Torres relied on his explosiveness and to be dynamic. So we spent £50 million. I think that was a record at the time. Didn't work out, although he brought us the Europa League and the Champions League, contribute massively to 2 games. Next to that, we moved on. After Torres, I would say...
You missed out Mutu. What about Mutu, who went on drugs?
Mutu was at 15 million. Mutu wasn't big money. I think Mutu and Kezman, they weren't big money. Well, back then, yes, but compared to Drogba, we spent a lot more money on Drogba than we did on Mutu and Kezman, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But they weren't really, they didn't really bring anything to the club. So from Torres, every time we signed when we made a big signing, there's always something about the player in the previous season that we didn't do our due diligence. Even with Lukaku, you could say, as we look at the player, we analyze the player and look at the manager profile, we will come to a quick conclusion that the player doesn't fit with the manager system. Now, saying all of this, that shouldn't deter us from spending big money when we have to do it. So I think with Fofana, because of his age, because of what he will contribute to our team, is worth taking. You could call it a risk, because look at all the big money that we did. There were players maybe closer to the late 20s or closer to the retirement, apart from Drogba. Well, in the end, it worked out really nicely for us. He was like 24. So I would say if we can afford it, we should go out for it and spend 80 million. I understand why some fans don't want to go above 80 million because of banter. Yeah, because if it doesn't work out well, we can always turn to United fans. Oh yeah, you got an 80 million pound fridge. But if our 80 million pound doesn't work out well, now all the banter we have with United about Maguire will be on our 85, 90 million pound. So in a way, fans always try to protect themselves in argument with other fans. But in the grand scheme of things, what the club want to spend on a player, they can do it if they see that it's financially viable for them. So going for Fofana, 80 million pound for me doesn't faze me. 85 million pound doesn't faze me. 90 million pound, oh wow, still doesn't faze me. If Leicester asking for ridiculous money, 100 million pound, things like that, then no, that is just stupid. That's just stupid. I think 80 million pound should be 75 million pound was the price that I felt Leicester would have been comfortable with, but it seems like they're not. So I think we should go up to 80 million pound. And the thing is, we should structure it in a way that we pay more in add-ons. So we pay a fixed fee now, and then maybe we play with a 20 million pound top up in add-ons, or a 50 million pound top up in add-ons, so that the whole deal at the end of the lifetime of the contract will be 80 million pounds. I think that we can work it out. Yeah, but to answer your question, every player that we sign, yeah, I can see why people are scared. Like Werner wasn't a big signing.
There's a pattern there.
There's a pattern. But again, look at the pattern as well. Every player that we sign for big money, either they didn't fit a system. Look at Kai Havertz. We signed Kai Havertz for 72 million pounds. I bet you when we signed him, we were playing a 4-3-3 under Lampard. We were saying, where are we going to play this guy? Are we going to play him as a right midfielder? Are we going to play him as a right wing? Because in Lampard's system, we didn't have a number 10. We play a flat midfield 3. Look at Kepa. Kepa was a panic because the season was about to start. We just lost our number 1 keeper. We went in for Alisson. For some reason, we couldn't come up with an agreement. We couldn't come up with an agreement with Roma at the time. So we went in and we literally had to buy a goalkeeper. and we had to activate his release clause. And
75 million, wasn't it? 75 million, and we wouldn't even work that.
Yeah, well, in hindsight, we say that, but at the time, if you go back in the summer, we just lost a number one keeper. We were looking around the market. I bet you that time the only viable keeper we had then was probably Alisson. We tried for Alisson, but I don't know.
We tried to get Oblak. No, I think it was Oblak and Alisson that time. We tried to get Oblak then, and Oblak wanted to stay after the beginning.
No?
Yeah.
So overall, for you think
the trend as you see it is either when we signed the player, the board signed those players actually because they were big signing for the board, and they weren't fitting necessarily with the manager's tactics. If we had a manager that actually saw, right, I need a number 10 and go out there, spend 80 million pounds on number 10 that will fit in what I'm trying to do. Because I believe Lampard, if you look at the way we're playing under Lampard, in hindsight now, you wouldn't see where would a guy like Havertz would have played in the system Lampard was trying to do. And actually, you can see on the pitch, Havertz did struggle under Lampard. Even with
go ahead.
Even with Torres as well, that's actually something that came to mind. When we're playing with Drogba and Anelka. Ancelotti, if you really ask Ancelotti, did he really need Torres at the time? Probably not. Because all these big signings have been the board made a statement signing. Even Lukaku, again, the board statement signing. But they didn't really consider the manager profile, the tactics that we were going for. That's probably why. And this is why they give me a bit of comfort with Fofana. I feel like he's a player Tuchel really need, and Tuchel will make him fit in his back three or even a back four. He's a manager player. Yeah.
You missed that Marco Ballack. He was a lot of money.
No, Ballack was free. He had a choice to go to United or Chelsea, and he came.
And we paid high. That's it. Then we paid a higher salary for him. We gave him a higher salary. I remember now. Yeah.
Let me quickly catch up on the chat, and I'll come back to the panel again. We'll talk about Havertz today, actually, given I was watching Matt's show earlier, Zivo YouTube channel. By the way, go check out his channel and be sure to subscribe if you haven't. Again, I'm having an issue here with my screen. I can't even do away with this thing. My point is this. I think it hasn't really worked for us, but maybe it's going to be a bit different this time because we're hearing that the club won't, they won't repeat the behavior of signing players because they're big names, because, they're going to help bring in money to the club. They're paying attention to the players that the manager wants, which means whatever player they're looking at, we can be rest assured the player will fit into the manager's project, even if they are overpaying. And right now we're overpaying because of the situation we found ourselves in. It's not by design. Our circumstances force us to be overpaying, and we expected that to happen. A. Suleiman says we're overpaid for Ashley Cole, Chilwell, Jorginho, Oscar of 32 million from Brazil. Not every one of them fails. Those ones, those are not out of the world numbers. I wouldn't argue that we overpaid for Oscar. I wouldn't say we overpaid for Jorginho. I wouldn't say that again. That's how I see it. For Ashley Cole, how much did we pay for him actually? I wouldn't say we overpaid for him, but that's go ahead. You were saying something, Rodrigo.
We paid £5 million to Arsenal for Ashley Cole.
Paid how much for who?
£5 million for Ashley Cole.
Yeah, because we swapped him for Gallas because he wanted to leave Chelsea and he went to Arsenal, and we got Ashley Cole for Gallas
for £5 million. We paid £5 million.
Yeah, because we
all right, I'm going to catch up. That's not overpaying in any way. So I'm going to catch up with the chat. I'll come back to the panel to find out what others have to say. And my connection is really killing. I don't know if you guys still hear me. Okay, let me see. Yeah, I'm having a serious issue with my connection. It's causing a lot of problems. I just don't know why. Let me see. If we were in such a dire need of a center back, we had Kunde on our radar way too long. Again, we had him on our radar, but it turns out the rumors that Thomas Tuchel never wanted him. what happened, it seemed as if that was the case. Maybe he didn't want Kunde. Kunde was going to be a board signing, which was always the case in most cases under the previous ownership. But that's, by the way, we moved on from him. And Munch himself did come out openly and say we had doubts regarding the player's profile, whether he'd fit into our project. So that was why we decided, to forfeit his pursuit. But that's understandable. So Kepa was a panic buy for sure, for obvious reasons. What's his name? The Belgium international was leaving for Real Madrid. He went AWOL, and we had no option than to go find a keeper immediately. That was why we had to pay his buyout clause. Pay the money for Fofana and add Skriniar as well. Get the young Dumfries, Diaby or Neto, Depay or Osimhen. Nope, don't care now much. We spent. I want it to be the best again. Being the best doesn't mean you just buy big names because they're there, because they are available. I think buying them all, you just end up creating a serious problem for you, because most of them will most likely or may not, fit into the manager's, the project, and then end up being a problem instead of a solution. We've been there before, and I don't want to go into calling names now. It says for 85 million, Liverpool would sell us Virgil van Dijk and find 2 Van Dijks. Yeah, that's the argument. So we should be careful how much you're paying. Yes, we're desperate. But again, if that's the way, if they're doing this just because they want to make sure they start well, good for them. But I think 85 million for Fofana will be too much. And I'm concerned that price tag will weigh on him. Yes, I've looked at it and said maybe because we have Koulibaly, experienced heads such as Koulibaly and Thiago Silva, maybe he won't even feel it. And again, I hope that's the case, because it's looking like we'll end up paying a world record fee for him. And it's honestly, I'm still going to say it. I am concerned. Again, coming to you, Daniel, your thoughts. Do you think paying that much money will be a problem, or do you think he'll be okay?
When what's his name came in the chat saying about 85 to 80 million for Fofana. Yeah, I totally disagree really, but it is a lot of money for Fofana for paying what we're going to do. But like I said before, Leicester, they're a small club, and what they do, they invest with their money on players. I've said that so many times. They're like the players they get for cheap. They always like to invest more money for the players, like what we did on Ben Chilwell. When they bought Ben Chilwell, they paid at least 18 million for him when he went to Leicester, and suddenly he sold Ben Chilwell to us for half a million. I think it was 45 million. So with N'Golo Kante, he was in Paris. He played for a team. They paid less for him. Sold him loads of money for us. Mm-hmm. Like Harry Maguire, they bought Harry Maguire for at least 12 mil. Sold to Man United 75 to 80 mil for him. And look what he does at Man United now. He's not a quality. Man United fans ain't happy with him. They want him out. But when it comes to Fofana, if it's the case, it's paying 80 to 85. I'll say give it 82. Offer him 82 mil. And if that's 82 mil, we've got the player. 5 years, you've got to figure he's still young. He's still young talent. He is quality. He does play well in the Premier League. And he ain't going to be a Harry Maguire. No chance. The boy in the international, when he was playing for France, he was outstanding when he played centre back for him. Yeah, fair enough. He comes on off the bench for sub, but when he plays for his international team for France, he shows the manager how good he is at centre back. He shows it at Leicester. The boy he's got a talent. He has got a talent in him, and people say he hasn't got a talent. Just need to improve. He'll improve himself, and if he's got Chelsea with Antonio Rudiger, everyone used to say he's clean, but look at what Thomas Tuchel did with Antonio Rudiger. He became one of the world's best centre backs, and now he's at Real Madrid. And Ali don't play at Real Madrid because he's always Materio and some other centre back who Real Madrid plays, Rudiger's always on the bench, but Rudiger will get try to have games in. Fofana, yes, it's a lot of money. That's what Leicester do.
Overall, you think he will be fine? You don't think the price tag will be an issue? You don't think it will affect his performance?
We're in a new season, coach. We like players. Team clubs do put higher money in, and if it has to come to put higher money in the player, we have to do it. If we want the player that much, it's like Conde last season, right? We want him so much, yeah, but Sevilla wanted like 80 million, but we didn't choose to pay the 80 million for him, so we lost out. And then this season we wanted him again, and all stories about Conde. Then he went to Barcelona, and we lost out on him because he went to Barcelona. If it's the case, we've got the money. If it's the case for finance that much, just pay him.
Okay, I got your point. Let me quickly catch up with the chat again because this is an interactive show. We can't do without those in the chat. Again, we're already closing into 100 likes. Let's shoot for 300 at least by the end of the show. If we get it to 400, that will be a record. Again, Oscar Chelsea paid £20 million for Oscar. I'm looking at that right now, my update screen. But that's, by the way, 18 million we get for Fofana, 42 million we get Skriniar. Thiago is 38. We'll forget that. So we have only Koulibaly. Again, I know the club. That's why if you ask Thomas Tuchel, he usually say something like he needs 2 more defenders or so. I'm not sure the number he usually mentioned. And for it's Kami who's watching the press conference, please do pay attention to it. And if at the end of it, if there's anything you feel like those of us who are here who are not able to watch it right now, anything you feel like we need to know, please, we'll wait for you to update us. Thank you. As someone says, Chevy, Torres, and Lukaku were all Romana choices. Shevchenko as a then Russian international.
No.
Okay.
Careful, man. So, he's Ukrainian, not Russian.
No, maybe then.
No.
It's always been Ukraine.
Even then, it's still Ukraine, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. We should go for the best attacking options like Alba or even Ivan Toney, who I think is going to be one of the best strikers at the Premier League in season to come. And they are both cheaper. Again, the question you should ask yourself, does Thomas Tuchel, does he want those players you're mentioning? So on the players we've been linked with, at the players Thomas Tuchel wants, he feels like will fit into his project. So if we can talk about any other player from now till tomorrow, it doesn't change anything. But that's, by the way, Jorginho was overpaid for 2, but his signing at least was understandable. And again, I think Jorginho wasn't overpaid. I think we had a deal in place because we're already taking Sarri, and we wanted Jorginho. So for Llorentes, he wanted to wait. I think there's an agreement in place that the whole thing was merged. Sarri coming to Chelsea and Jorginho joining Chelsea. We had to pay extra for those 2. I'm not sure the structure of the deal then, but they weren't separate. The manager picking his own players is a dangerous game. At Liverpool, the club scout and choose the best options, not the manager. Here's the thing: we already have issues. We already have serious issues in place, and we don't have a director of football. So now the only option would be to ask the manager, what players do you need? And do I think that if Tuchel points to a player that the club will go and get the player without consulting the scouts? Absolutely no, that's not possible. After Tuchel points to a player, that is the ethical thing to do will be the club must get the scout to look at the player and say, okay, what do you think of this option? They will look at it, and if they come to terms with, and if they agree, then the club will now go sign him. I don't think there's any way the club will go get a player just because Tuchel points at the player. The scout must come into play. That's why whenever
Is it? You guys hear me?
I think he's frozen up, coach.
Okay, can you guys hear me? Sorry about that again. So that brings me back to the Lukaku case. Even though, yeah, was that
You're
Roman?
You're gonna have to start that again, coach. You
have to start again, coach. You cut off.
Okay, so what I'm saying, my point is, there's no way that Thomas Tuchel will point to a player. Yes, he wants to play. There's no way the club will go ahead and start without consulting the scout. And that brings me back. Can you guys hear me now?
You're breaking up.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you now.
We're with you when you were saying that Thomas Tuchel won't go for a player and the club go for it. He has to rely on the scout, and then you cut off.
Yeah, exactly. So my point is, the scout has to still look at that option before the club says, okay, let's do it. Because again, that brings me to my argument. What I've always argued about Romelu Lukaku, there's no way the club will bring him in, even though it was Roman's choice. The scout would say they have a say. They can go to him and say, boss, this player will not work. No. But that was why I questioned. You see that we had a yes-sir scout that doesn't say anything when Roman wants a player, simply means they don't know their job. If I'm part of them, I'd say, boss, look, you want this player, but it's going to cause us problems.
But you want to lose your job? They won't say anything.
Again, it depends on the individual you're talking with. I have a very strong policy. If I find myself in that position, I wouldn't mind losing my job. I'd rather my reputation be intact than you paying me, and then in the future, people will look at me and say, you were there when Chelsea signed Lukaku, you didn't say anything.
Yeah, look at Pacheco. Look at Pacheco at Tottenham. He wanted to buy the players, right? He wanted to buy the players and scout players and try and get players for Tottenham. But Levy wouldn't do it, so he the chairman, chose to buy the players what he wanted. The thing is, if it comes to this mix saying about Liverpool, scout players. Liverpool, you guys down, they've got about 3 or 4 scouts in their club, are really good, and they've got so many scouts who can scout players. And if Jordan Flop wants them players, he'll get them players.
My overall argument is that it all comes down to this comment on the screen. Even right now, I think the scout does. It's not about about what Thomas Tuchel wants. The scout will have to say, okay, let's look at it. If they find anything any reason to argue that it wouldn't work, they will let him know. So quickly, I'm going to catch up with the chat, and once I go to IBZ, I think I will check out my Wi-Fi booster to see what's going on. Again, let me scroll to the very bottom and just do that immediately. Again, thank you for 100 plus likes. I cannot thank you guys enough. Let's shoot for 300 by the end of the show. So IBZ, I will bring you in. We were talking about the price tag. Do you think it will be an issue for the player, or do you think he will be fine?
I'm desensitized now. You know what I said last time? I said, you see me, I'm ready for us here, just to be realistic, innit? Like, I don't like chasing players more than like a couple weeks. If it gets to like the 3rd week or a month, that's when I move on. That's just me, innit? For the benefit of the team chasing, everyone's saying 85. I don't think it's gonna even be like that. I think it's gonna be like £100 million deal, mate. 90 million plus add-ons. We haven't got time. They hold the prices. They ain't got minerals that people to negotiate this deal, and time's not on our side. So if we really want this guy, like everyone's saying, it's either we put up or shut up. It's either we leave the deal or we put up an offer that they can't refuse and get the kid. So we're looking at I believe we're looking at a 90 million plus probably add-ons, £100 million deal. And it probably happened. Things happen. Like, it could be the most expensive defender of all time, whatever. And if he does come, that deal, that pressure may get to him, it may not. Thomas Tuchel can put his arms around him and say, listen, don't forget about the pressure, because he didn't ask for it. He didn't ask for the price tag. It's the price tag that the club will discuss. The valuation of his contract, his personal terms, and they come to the valuation. It's not for fun that I will say, I am worth 100 million. That's what they'll come to evaluate, and it will be us that will judge him, unfortunately, based on what the 2 clubs have discussed without him even being in the room to discuss his own player evaluation. But that's the sport, innit? But it's cool. So I don't think he will personally cave into the pressure. I believe he's a good player. I believe these days they're getting so much money anyway that player pressure hardly gets to them. Like these days, I don't think so. And I believe that even if you pay 100 million, in my eyes, I couldn't care less, to be honest. I'm not worried about it, because probably you could argue that he's going to be here for another 10, 15 years. And he could, is in the next 5 years, if he actually steps up his game into an unprecedented level, the 100 million will be like a bargain. So at this point, I can't pick and choose. Me personally, I'll back out of this deal, pick up some other alternatives, like I mentioned in a week, like a couple of days ago, Luis Felipe and all these man. But you know, the club really wants him. Tuchel really wants him. It seems the fans really want him. So yeah, get him then, innit? And if we're gonna get him, just pay what you gotta pay. Me, 90 million, 100 million, let's go. Let him be the most expensive defender of all time, whatever. Let's come here, innit? You got the talent, we want you, come here. I don't care. Todd Boehly's got the money, let's spend it. We can discuss about, but the price, this and that and the third and all of that. We could discuss that later. We haven't got time. We've got Tottenham on Sunday. We've got a week or so left of the transfer window. Yo, we need to make things happening. If we're not getting this guy, we move on to the next and get someone in. If we're not,
so you don't think that the price tag will be an issue for him? Look at this, because the fact remains, the press will talk about it, and they will not stop talking about it.
Keep on talking. Let them talk. Let them talk. Are they going to talk for 10 years? Are they going to talk for 15 years? Let them, you know, they'll talk. Today's news is someone else's. You know what I mean? News will move on tomorrow. When the World Cup comes, everyone's going to shut up and talk about England that's coming home. So what I'm saying is, let us stick to what we need to do and forget what everyone else is talking about, because that's their job. We got to get players in compete enough for the season. Otherwise, let's just accept that we're not good enough to compete, and then we're just going to be mediocre. Which is, I accept that as well, because boy, we haven't got the minerals to get the season in place, and I can't kill myself. We haven't got the things ready, so I'll just accept situations. And we haven't got a replacement for Rudiger. Oh yeah, we can, yeah, we do. We have Koulibaly, but we haven't got. We're still lacking. We're clearly still lacking like four players. So if you're telling me that we're still umming and ahhing, is this price? Nah, let's get him. Pay 100 million. Bow. I'm ready. Todd Boehly, he hasn't got peas. Forget the smash the transfer record. Forget what they say. We can go through FFP. We're calm. Over the past 3 years, we ain't really done the madness. Remember, we had a 2-window ban. We didn't even spend on we didn't even spend on the second window when it got reduced, and we got money back. So we're still cool on the FFP, man. Let's spend, bro. What are we doing? If we're not spending, let's move on and let's conclude it, because we haven't got time, coach. That's my anger. I don't like twerking for players, man. What the hell? What players worth all of this whirlwind? I say, if I was there, other targets, cheaper targets, you know, whatever. Bring in someone. We haven't got time. And if we keep, you know, dwelling on these type of targets, it's gonna come to a situation where we're just gonna look, you know, we're probably not gonna get him. Someone else will hijack it. It would just look silly. So I was expecting by this week, Friday, there would have been materialistic moves already for a striker and or a defender. But nothing. It's still rumours in my eyes. It's still talking. He needs to sit down and think, and he needs to call his mum and see if it's the right move, and he needs to find out with the weatherman if the weather's okay in England. And I don't want to hear that, my guy. I need players here now, and this is why I kind of credit the Cucurella deal, because Cucurella was done simple within like a couple of weeks. But it seems like what we really need to get done is not really getting done. So. And maybe it is what it is. I mean, we can't identify targets and get them. It seems like we're only opportunists in situations. Our opportunity to get Cucurella was only with the help of Man City not being able to match the bid that Brighton won, and we could. And it was easy. It was done swiftly because the player said he was vocal in his move and said, you know what, I'm handing in a transfer request. I'm not coming. I'm throwing my toys at the pram. He got what he wanted. It was very quick. In this situation, we're just here. A player doesn't have to leave because he's on the contract. The team is. But this is twerking. I ain't got time. I got a game on Sunday. Then after, I got another game. You know what I mean? And in September, there's no international fixtures. So it's going to be relentless in September. Relentless. So, what are we talking about? That's my opinion.
It's every single time. It's every year with Chelsea, coach. Sorry to break in. Every year when it comes to the transfer market where we want these players, we don't push enough to get these players.
Listen, a reason why I've accepted this is the reason why I've accepted this. Yeah, it's because obviously we don't have the men in place to get things done. That's it. Period. That's the only reason why we are where we are.
It's a joke. It's a joke. We should push
and
it.
It's cool. And it's fine, because people will argue that, you know, it's his first season and he's given the benefit of the doubt, and I have. I understand, but I am not surprised with what's going on. So me, I'm saying, yo, bro, you're new on the block. Show everyone you got money. Put 100 mil. Let them chat rubbish. What are they going to take you out?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Before we move on, I want to say this again. This comment on the screen, which says again, Kachila, it's not about buying players for buying sake, but quality. Even if you spend more, you cannot have your cake and eat it. This is a delicious comment, by the way. And here's how I see it. Am I concerned about how much we're spending for the players under Todd Boehly from what I've seen so far? No. Why? Because we're going for quality players. We're going for players who will fit into the way the manager likes to approach the game. So that is a really, really good to see. But here's the thing. We're talking about seeing some things from the perspective of the players themselves. And that's why I'm asking the question, do we think if we pay anything north of 80 million, if that will affect the performance of Wesley Fofana if he eventually joins us? Because these are humans. And Chelsea, they will never stop talking about it. But do I think Fofana can overcome that? I don't think.
Then what? Sorry to cut you in, coach. Then if you're going to talk about the price, you're going to talk about the price in general and everything. How many, bro, the price has gone up. Let's wake up and smell it. The price of the brick has gone up. Football is expensive. Players are going for millions.
They are.
Millions.
Yeah, this is
That's the game, yo. And if it's quality, what you gonna pay, yo? Look how Neymar left from Barcelona to PSG. They want him. They paid money, yo. What are we talking about? What are we saying? I know he hasn't won home for them, but yo, they wanted it. That's the way it is. You pay for what you get. We can't, and we are not in a position. We are not in a position where we can dictate or sit back and no pressure and all of that, because we haven't got the asset to compete where we want to be. So yes, it's going to be overpriced. It's going to be, I need to quickly go to, my train is coming. I'm going to miss my train. I need to get a drink and all of that. Yeah, I need to run to the nearest shop I find, even if it's expensive. I'm going to have to buy it ASAP. I ain't got time.
I understand. Yes, my point, IBZ. My argument isn't whether we should. No, we're overpaying whether we like it or not. We found ourselves in that situation, and we don't have the luxury to even try to get a player for cheap. Clubs know we're desperate, and for obvious reasons, we're desperate. But that's why my argument is just seeing things.
Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
No, wait, let me bring it back. I have a spoken for a while.
Let me say one thing quickly about this left wing back. Right, this is.
We will get to that. That's another argument.
The clause is they put 180 million on his release clause now. Yeah, to say if anyone wants to buy that player. Yeah, they have to pay 180 million.
They do that all the time. Are you talking about Spanish club? They do that all the time. That's
I can't remember his name. I can't remember.
That's the normal.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And we're talking about Fofana at 80 to 85 million. That's what I mean. They pay money.
All right. Again, just hold on. Again, let me bring in Ty. Ty, your thoughts. Do you think the price tag will put more pressure on the player? Do you think it will be an issue for the player overall, or do you think it will not be an issue?
It will put pressure on him. That's what always happens. It's the exact same thing. And although it's not their fault that they're valued that high by their parent club at that time, it's gonna weigh into the opinion. So if they make a mistake, they're gonna say, "Oh, look at that. He was worth such and such, and he's doing this badly." That is how football works. It's brutal. It works in a way where even when it's not your fault, things have these situations where it has these consequences, and this is what happens. I mean, it will put pressure on him, because if you're gonna be, having such a long, ongoing discussion about this one player, and then he comes in, he has to deliver. He has to do good. I'm not gonna say what IBZ said about he needs to be like the second coming of Maldini and things like that, but he has to come in. I know. Anytime when he gets to adapt to the team, he has to show consistency. He has to minimize mistakes. Obviously, nobody's perfect, so he's gonna make mistakes sometimes. But it shouldn't be a case where every game you see him making a bad pass, counter attack happens, we concede. Things like that he has to work on that. And I guess in a sense, people say he's good on the ball. But for me, the price tag will put pressure on him. Pressure that he doesn't need because it's not his fault. But the pressure is going to be there because that's how football works. And if you don't live up to the price tag, then in the end you're gonna have criticism and you're gonna be given a lot of banter for it. So I mean,
it'll be up to him as a character to overcome that pressure.
And then that is when we'll see that if we brought in a player who is strong mentally and has the mindset to ignore all the criticism that he'll get, hatred, and pursue that. Because that's what Rudiger had to do. That's what these players had to do. They didn't start off good, and then eventually they hit the ground running and they slot into the team and they become a key player. So it'll be if he comes in and we decide to pay the money that Leicester City are asking, then we'll have to see how strong mentally he is and if he has the right attitude that will give him an advantage of being successful at the club.
Just to add to that, Ty, just to add to what you're saying, you're right, because that is true. They're obviously, it's not him, it's going to come. It'll be obviously up to him mentally to overcome it and not even see that as a thing, innit? Because at the end of the day, money's getting flown around differently. I will believe that the support bubble around him at Chelsea, if he were to come, will help him settle in gradually. I believe that Tuchel will put his arms around him and let him understand, like, listen, forget about the price. Just enjoy your football. Play, enjoy it. You're still young. Enjoy it, first of all. Don't put
so IBC, you now agree, that is, there's another question whether he can overcome that pressure that transfer fee will put on him. But you do agree there is some measure of pressure that comes from, 100%.
Okay.
It'd be good anyway.
People will talk anyway. People are going to talk. It's not him that's going to. He ain't going to put himself under pressure. But when he looks at social media, people are going to talk. If he makes a mistake, people are going to talk. It's not him doing it, but it will be up to the inner circle and him to overcome that. Help him overcome that. And I don't think it will be a problem. Personally, I really don't think it will be a problem. I really don't think that will faze him. I really don't think.
It won't be a bad play when it comes to us. That's what I'm saying.
I really don't think he'll face him. I understand whatever, but I personally think he's not going to be on some, oh my God, 100 million or 80 million. Oh my God. I don't think so. I think
he will show his quality. Yeah? He will show his quality.
I think these young G's, these young players, listen, they're seeing money, man. So I just think that they're just like, I think it's more ego to them, if that makes sense. More than it boosts their ego, more than pressure. Oh my God, am I gonna? And obviously, it will be up to the club, the manager, his peers to ground him and help him nurture his talent more, innit? So I think he will overcome it. That's what I'm just saying.
IBC,
by his talent, let's get him. I'm not saying we should. Listen, I'm not saying we should. I'm an advocate of we're not twerking for no player. Get him. Like, let's move on. But it seems that I can't change anything. It seems that we're going hell-bent for this guy. We're waiting. We're doing it. So just pay the money and get on with it. That's all. Forget what the money has to say. Let's get the talent first. Sort it out. And then you can worry about outside noise. People will always talk, good or bad. People will always talk. You can't stop that. Just get the guy. Get the guy first.
Quick question for you, IBC. Quick question for you, IBC, quickly. All right. You're saying I agree on what Tyler's saying, and I agree with what you're saying, yeah? What don't you think Fofana, if we paid that 85 million for Fofana, don't you think he will adapt this season? I reckon he'll adapt him straight away with the 3 front line.
Probably not. But I really do not know. I would like to think he has the ability to overcome it, but we're hell bent on this guy, so we probably feel that he can get slot in. We probably feel that he can fit in socially through the dynamics. We probably feel that the price is just what it is. Who knows? But I believe he can. He's already played.
Look what he did at Leicester, last season, so last 2 seasons. Look at what he's done at international for France, right? Yes, Thomas Tuchel, made Rudiger like the way he is. We've got more better physical centre backs at Chelsea. What Leicester could do, we could make Fofana strong, like what we did with Antonio Rudiger, Christian, right? Chalobah, right? But the thing is, Fofana, coach, right? If we bought him now, because that's why Chelsea. If we didn't think Fofana was that good, Chelsea wouldn't try to offer another third bid to him. Chelsea are desperate to get Fofana in because they see the shine of his quality, right? And if he comes to Chelsea, he will adapt straight away at the centre back.
All right. Here's the thing. That's not what the argument lies. But I think we should just move on from. And again, but maybe I'll get Eric's thoughts whether he thinks. But I don't think Eric would think the same because his avatar I saw before was Fofana himself. So, but I'm gonna bring him in a bit to find out what he thinks. And let me catch up on the chat. We've left Ampadu, and I'm far too behind right now. This is Liam Lane. He's talking about what's his name, Kovacic's injury, saying it could be long term. And again, unfortunately, now we're seeing why he didn't participate that much during the preseason, even the first game of the season. It's looking like we tried to manage it to see maybe if it can recover fully, but unfortunately he hasn't. Again, some are concerned what we're going to do in the mid area. I'm really concerned because I love Kova so much, and so far Kova has proven to be the only player that plays whenever oppositions press us aggressively or whenever oppositions defend deep. He's usually the guy that's able to progress the ball in those circumstances. But that's, by the way, here we have Mitch. It says, no wonder we want another midfielder. Kova injured, then Kante gets overplayed, then Kante injured, then watching ROC and J5 versus Liverpool. Yeah, it's a very, very dangerous situation for us. So we need to get a midfielder as soon as possible. I don't know if Chukwuemeka will be able to fulfill that hybrid of 8/6 role for us.
You won't like this then, coach.
Sorry?
You won't like this. He made mention of the centre back role and the attack. No mention of the midfield. So that is already not a good indication.
Yeah, it's not at all. So, but let's see what happens. Again, if you're watching, we have 185 people watching, and we have, I think, 103 likes. I'm not sure whether my screen is up to date, but if you haven't, please do take a second to like the video. We have 151 people have participated in the poll, which so far we should Chelsea pay 80 million for Fofana. 53% says what? No, please, and 47% says yes, he is worth the price. Again, if you haven't, before have 152 people participate in the poll, we should have at least 150 likes. If you haven't, please do take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel. Yes, no wonder either. Again, let me see if there's anything else to address here. Do not be surprised if the Young would be a Kovac's replacement, not a replacement, maybe competition. I've always called that we need, I said it before, if we're going to be playing with 2 6s and the approach is one of them disciplined and the other will be a hybrid of an 8 and a 6, we need to get someone in who's able to fulfill that role whenever Kovacic isn't playing, because we seem to struggle when he isn't playing. Here we have Kova is a great player, but so unreliable because of his injuries. Because probably you can argue we've overplayed him on occasions, even without paying attention to that. Rudiger, world best centre back, biased, yes. The guy was already a full German international. Lampard didn't have a clue. Lampard didn't help him in any way, actually. If anything, he frustrated the life out of him. We don't need the Young, says Ragnar Lothbrok. Okay, that's your argument. You have every right to argue that. I'm going to try the best I can to catch up with the chat. I guess Joshua is right about who. That's a conversation I wasn't part of. We want one creative central midfielder, one killer striker, and one creative right wing. Okay, each of right wing and left wing player. If we're calling for the club to sign a striker, pay attention to the mode of striker you're calling for. If you understand Thomas Tuchel, you'd better not just say it for the sake of it. And Jeff Knightley says no sound. When can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Can everybody in the chat hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, coach.
Okay, maybe that was when my connection was acting up. That's probably when that happened. Okay, let me keep going here. Again, I'm going to come back to Eric right away, and I'll be highlighting the comments. Let me see if there's anybody I haven't said hello to. I haven't said hello to Jamal Williams. Let's use Gallagher as that hybrid 6-0. Can he?
No,
really?
I'm
not sure. I'm not sure about Gallagher's ability to dribble his way out of tight spaces. Again, to progress the ball even when oppositions are presses aggressively. I'm not sure of his ability to do that. I know he's a physical player. I know he can put in some hard tackles and all that. But that aspect of his game, I'm not sure. Big up, guys. Just finished watching the TT's press conference.
Yeah, he's gone
It's
again.
cut off again. It's gone again, isn't it? It's gone again.
You know what? I'll just take over since I was supposed to speak next.
Yeah.
Look, thanks for having me again.
Short one today.
Oh, okay. You're back.
Yeah, Eric was.
No, go ahead, Eric, please. Go ahead. It's gotten worse. Go ahead, Eric.
Breaking up, mate.
It's a poor connection. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, so I was just saying, big up yourself. Thanks for having me.
Big up to you too, brother.
It's been too long since the last one, but I know I have some more time now, so I'll say, I have to be involved whenever I can. I'll just start with the first thing you said. That picture was actually Sterling. It wasn't.
Oh, okay. It wasn't. Okay, now it's Koulibaly, right?
It's Koulibaly now because he's he's the most recent. Well, the most recent is Cucurella, but I'll go with Koulibaly because I didn't have him as my profile for a while. So in fact, I didn't have him at all. So maybe I'll go with Cucurella later, or who knows? But yeah, just to quickly speak on one or two things I heard. Rudiger ended up being, you can argue, the best defender in the world, or the best, centre back. People would probably say
just safe to say one of the.
Yes, for sure, one of the best, 100%. And that happened under Tuchel. I think Lampard initially rated Rudiger, but I think he was too impatient because when he came back, he just came back from a very bad injury from the season before. I think it was under Sarri. He got injured. And then he came back and, everybody was expecting so much because we were struggling defensively. But because he hadn't fully recovered, Lampard was impatient and he decided, you know what, Rudiger needs to move on because, he's not giving me what I want. He's not there, he's not as good as I thought he was. And that's what I think happened with Rudiger and Lampard. And in the end, for me, you can't blame Lampard for what happened. It's the club, is the way he was treated, with the previous ownership is what you blame for him leaving. There's no doubt about that for me. And in terms of Gallagher, the Gallagher can definitely not play as a double pivot. I used to think Mouse could do it, but to be honest, he has to be. I don't think the level. I think the main thing is the level of performance that we get. I don't think Mount or Gallagher can produce that high level performance as a double pivot. So there's no point doing it. Maybe in a cup game against a team from League One, but not in any important games. That's not a good idea.
Yeah, I don't see him. I hope you guys can hear me still. I don't see him as a number 6 because primarily as a number 6 he should be able to read the game. And again, that's another thing. But if he's going to be playing the Kovacic role, which is a hybrid of a 6 and 8, he's also I'm not sure about his ability to dribble his way out of tight spaces, progress the ball in a very congested situation. But you go ahead, Eric. While I'm still with you, what do you think about the Fofana price tag? Do you think it will be an issue?
Okay. You're not going to like what I'm going to say now because I know you.
I knew it. Didn't I know? But go ahead.
Okay. Fofana is a good player. Okay. I'm not saying I don't think he's good, but for me, before he got injured, is he somebody you would look at and say, this guy is good enough to play week in, week out? Not even for a team that's going to win the title. For a top 4 team. Is this guy top 4 level? Is he good enough to start week in, week out for a team that is good enough to play Champions League football? That's the question you need to ask. And then he gets injured, right? And he's only come back from his very bad injury. So is it wise to spend upwards of £70 million to get somebody who just came back from injury, and he's a young player, he's inexperienced, he's not going to start, he shouldn't be able to start week in, week out the way he is right now. Is it a wise thing to do? I don't know if it is. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it makes too much sense. I think it's a very big risk for someone who just came back from a bad injury and for somebody who is his age, because what we need is a starter We need somebody who. We already have Chalobah. We don't need somebody to be, a squad player. We need a starter week in, week out. Somebody who is like Koulibaly. Not saying he has to be as good, but we need somebody who has that quality. He's not going to make 2 or 3 mistakes every game. So that's what I think.
So to you think it's too much?
It's too much risk. It's too much of a gamble.
I think there was your thoughts on what Eric just said. What do you think?
I disagree on that.
I disagree on that floor because look how long he's been in the Premier League. Look how long.
How long actually? Isn't it just one season? Is it one season for
three seasons?
Okay, yeah, 3 seasons for Leicester City. But go ahead. So has he done it consistently? Would you argue that?
For his first season, he did.
He does better with all the likes of what's that? Evans. Is it Evans? The guy was at West Brom, I think, at one point.
Yeah.
Evans, that's former Manchester United player, right?
Yeah, he was at West Brom as well. He was at West Brom.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah.
It's an ex-Man United player. Yeah,
but I was talking about the fact he was at West Brom as well. And I mean, the FA Cup game in itself, I remember Evans got injured. I don't remember if he started or if he came on to replace him. No, I don't remember. But he did well. He made it difficult for the team to get the ball into the box, and he kept clearing the ball. And that showed that when you have these players that are really not of the high level, it affects your game. And I mean the same thing happened when we played Leicester City in the Premier League after the FA Cup final.
No, he struggled. He struggled in that game.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Because he had a certain person beside him once again, so he had to do 2 works instead of 1 work in terms of being 1 player, but for 2 players. So I think in that sense, the judgment cannot be consistent because you don't know if he needs to have good players around him in order for him to do good, or if he'll struggle when you have players who are still learning, and circumstances lead to us having to rely on these players because of injuries. It's a World Cup year. The World Cup will be going on during a period where it's going to be colder. So I think there's going to be a lot of red flags. But I don't know, man. It depends on what it is. But you have to take risks. But this risk is a big one. But like I keep saying, situations like this is what we're buying a player out of a club. So the price tag is not going to be cheap. He has 5 years left on his contract. You're buying him out of the club. So you look at it, in my opinion, as 70 million each year.
Yeah, like I've mentioned before, again, we don't have the luxury to say, okay, we can't pay that much. We'll be fine without him. I think we really do need him. Aspie is, again, after Chalobah, Aspie is the next player to play in that position. And it doesn't look like, no matter how we see it, Thomas Tuchel trusts Chalobah that much. Chalobah, you could argue, happened by accident, given that our pursuit of Jules Koundé that year that Chalobah emerged.
Coach. You said something disrespectful.
It happened by accident. His inclusion in the team happened by accident.
You said he happened by accident, meaning that him as a person.
Ty, stop attacking him, please. This is not an English class. Respect yourself, Ty. Please.
I disagree with what he was saying, but Fofana. Sorry, mate. I know. Sorry to break in, Ty, but there's 3 centre backs, right? Have been world class in the Premier League for like the last couple of seasons, yeah. Right. You've got a Newcastle centre back who was injured, right, and he came back injury, played for his international, and played really good from after his injury, right? Fabien Sarr. Right. Then you've got what's his name from it was from Burnley, right? He was injured, okay. He came back and done really well for the whole season. Yeah, Fofana, yeah, he might have been injuries, but he came back, played for his international flights after the day he came back from injury, played class, and then when he played for Leicester, did really well. The thing with Fofana, yeah, everyone's worrying about his injuries, but he still has his quality on the pitch, coach. No matter what, if he's injured, he comes back 100% all the time. No doubt he makes mistakes. He's always on the pitch 100% for Fofana. So if he did get injured, like say he was out for two games, next game he'll come back 100%. Fofana's one. It's like, oh yeah, Cody. That's it. Cody.
Connor Cody.
Connor Cody. Right. It's just went to Everton. Right. He was injured for over a month. Yeah, for Burnley. He came back 100%.
He played for Wolves.
He played. Yeah. Oh, was it Wolves? Yeah. That's it. Wolves. Yeah, Wolves. Yeah. Connor Cody. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Tarkowski is from Burnley.
Tarkowski. That's it. Tarkowski, who went to Everton, right? They're the same players. Connor Cody and from Wolves and Tarkowski, they were injured and they came back 100%.
Okay, let's assume he didn't get injured. Okay.
Yeah.
Is pre-injury Fofana good enough for Chelsea?
Of course he is.
Is he a starter?
Yeah, he is, mate. Look what he did at International in France. Look what he done for Leicester, mate.
Here's the thing. Let's just move on. We have to move on from that Fofana topic. Otherwise, we're going for back and forth. Here's the thing about the Fofana argument. I think you could argue that at some time, if you're watching them, it just seems as if he's not a good player due to, like Ty already talked about, to the player. I think they lacked leadership. Let me just put it that way in the Leicester City defense. That's when he's doing quite a lot of work to cover for what's his name again, the former Manchester United player. In most cases, they lacked leadership. Yeah, since the Jamaican international, since he left the team, they have struggled. They haven't found the appropriate person to lead that back line well. So Yinchu sometimes does a good enough job leading that back line whenever he's available. But that's, by the way, I think we should just move on from that topic. I don't know if there's anything else to address in the chat. Kimso think Fofana is worth 50 million max. Let me ask. So Yinchu is still in that club, right? He's still at Leicester, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Here we have Green Ninja said, believe what you want to believe. You will never get things done. Okay, Kim, so that's another argument between you two. Let me see anything else. PK and Busquets are taking a witch cut. Those are Barca captains. The situation is getting serious. Now, I'm just going to scroll to the very bottom. But I want to say again, thank you for everybody that's watching. If you haven't, please do take a second to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Let me start with you, Eric, again. The question I want to ask, let's talk about this brother right here. We're hearing the Bayern actually considered coming for him. What really is the issue with this brother right here, Kai Havertz? Should we even, entertain any offers to take him from us? No. Again, he's a talent, no question. But what has happened? I know if you look at his past, he usually comes into his own during mid-season or first quarter of the season. He doesn't usually start well, but that has to change. Otherwise, now that Timo Werner is gone, I think he's going to be the next guy to take the bullet from all angles from the Chelsea fan base.
Yeah, he might be. And I'm not going to say that he's been amazing. But for me, stats are one thing. I saw a very funny tweet from a certain Chelsea journalist, but we won't mention his name. Look, I don't look at the number of goals he scored so far because he's not a striker. He's not. Unlike Werner, Havertz is not a striker. And by the way, that person tweeted conveniently didn't add the number of appearances. I'm pretty sure Werner has played more games than Havertz. So, Werner is what? 25, 26? Werner is older than Havertz as well. But let's just ignore these things and pretend like, they don't matter. But for me, Havertz is not a striker. He's more like a second striker. If I think of his position, I think the closest thing to it is what Muller does, But sadly, we don't really play with the formation that utilizes a second striker. We don't really play like that, And we don't play a 4-3-3. We don't play a 4-2-3-1. So he's never been played as a 10 in a 4-2-3-1. He's been played in so many positions, on the right wing, as the number 8 under Lampard, He's been playing, receiving the ball from the centre back, receiving the ball from the goalkeeper before. He's been played in a lot of places, but for me, the way we get the best out of Havertz is we surround him with quality and we try to give him a role that fits what he is good at. For me, he's a good passer of the ball. I'm not sure if he's actually good enough to be a number 10, but he is somebody who can get into the box. And in my opinion, he's somebody who should be as high up the pitch as possible. You don't want him wasting time in the midfield trying to, get the, keep the ball, dribble. Like what you want is for him to be as close to the goal as possible, getting assists, scoring from missed chances, making a final pass here or there. That is the kind of thing I'm thinking about for Havertz, And he's not a winger, he's not a striker. He should be some kind of second striker or some kind of false nine. That is his best position. And I can't judge him just on the goals he scores. I look at the way he plays. I look at how he's actually helping the team. And the creativity hasn't been, good enough. You can definitely say that. But for me, there's a lot of quality there. There's a lot of potential. And if we can just get the best out of him, maybe change the formation, then that can be something that we can potentially get, we can see the best out of him, hopefully. But it's just a difficult situation because it's not his fault. He's just a product of the way we've been doing things. We don't really buy players to fit a system. We buy players because of the name. We don't buy players because of the stats. So, Werner, even though Werner is not good enough, Werner is also somebody who has suffered because of it. Because we never played to his strengths. And he's a very limited player. So he ended up flopping. And so for me, we just need to see what Tuchel can hopefully do with this team. Let's see if we can get better players in the next windows. And hopefully Havertz can stay, because for me, I'm not saying he's worth the money that was paid for him, but he has a lot of potential. And he has done a lot of things to prove that there's something there. And when you look at his age, I know that, it's not a guarantee, but I think he can improve. I think he can improve a lot. So I think he's our second youngest player. He's what, 21, 22? So for me...
Just turned 22.
Yeah, he just turned 20. Selling him would be crazy for me. That is a big mistake to do that. So
and even if we decide to sell him, there's no way we'll get anything close to how much we paid for him. Because it's not like he's been in brilliant form for us or something like that. But go ahead, Eric. I'll talk when you're done.
Yeah, I'm pretty much done. I don't think it's fair to just target him. Oh, who's the next? Like, Havertz should not be near the top of the list for players who need to leave. I think Werner was higher up on that list, and it's correct that he left in the end. And we need to think of people like Pulisic before thinking of people like Havertz, in my opinion. That might sound controversial. But,
no, it doesn't. But again, I think the next person, and it's already out there, actually. The conversation is already out there. I think he's the next person. He's the person that the fan base defaults to now that Timo Werner is gone. And I'm seeing signs that that's the case. It's everywhere on Twitter. Even Matt, my friend, also talked about it today. He's concerned about him. I wish he was here so we can talk about him in detail. Here's the thing. I think Kai is a victim of his versatility. You could argue that. His ability to play nearly every position in the front area is one of the major factors of his problem at Chelsea Football Club. He's not had the opportunity to settle. He's not had the opportunity to settle into a single position. At his age, that's important for a player who is still as young as Kai is. But Kai, you can say, he's a tool in the hands of the manager that he likes. Kai can play second striker. Sometimes he plays alone. Sometimes he plays as one of the 2-8. Sometimes he's been played on the flanks too. Those things doesn't help his case. And this is a player who's actually a creator. But we've not been able to see that consistently because of how we deploy him during games. This is a player who's, you could argue, among all the Chelsea players, he's the one with that intelligence to make the most of the slightest of spaces he finds on the pitch. That's how good of a player he can be. I cannot say he's proven.
We had a problem with him with 2 year seasons when he was at when he came.
Yeah. So just let me finish. So my point is this. Like Eric talked, I don't think it's time to start saying this is the guy to leave. But unfortunately, most Chelsea fans has this defaulted to Kai being even more than they're pushing for Pulisic's exit. But if you paid attention to Kai, you must have seen flashes of what he's capable of doing. But because his managers default to whenever there's an issue in the front area, Tuchel usually goes to him to get him to fulfill the position, whether it's an 8, whether it's one of the two, to play as a second striker or to play as a lone striker when Lukaku got injured and all that. Those things doesn't help his case. That's why I argue Kai is actually a victim of his own of his versatility as a player. And I've always said that before. Versatility, whereas is a good thing for the manager, it can be detrimental to the development of young players. Because versatility is good, but master one first. Be a master at fulfilling one of the roles out there before you can switch, dabble into being showing that you can actually fulfill all the roles out there. But that's, by the way, Rodrigo. Let me come to you. And I'll go to Ty and Daniel. Your thoughts on the Kai Havertz situation?
Yeah, can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you. You're not like me. Is that a way of having a
Yeah. For me, I feel like Chelsea fans are very reactionary. It's annoying sometimes. Like, obviously, I'm new to Twitter. I've only joined when you asked me to join so I can take part in these calls. Every time I go on there, I just read. I just like, come on, some of these fans, some of the things they say is ridiculous. Kai Havertz, like we've all said, he's played in unfamiliar positions. He's not a right winger. I doubt that he's even a right centre mid. Like when we play in the 4-3-3 with a flat 3-man midfield. I don't think Havertz can play in that. And then you could see Lampard started to play deep because I could see times where Havertz was receiving the ball from the centre back, and that was ridiculous. Havertz has the potential to be one of Germany's best players in the years to come. I think we should be patient with him. We shouldn't be rushing to. There's a lot of players I can think of that should leave before we even entertain Havertz. There's a lot of people in the team that could be. What I've noticed in Havertz's game as well is getting a bit stronger. I remember when he came in, he used to get bullied off the ball easily, and I've noticed that he's getting stronger by seasons. Last season, that was one of the major development points I noticed, and then this season has only just started. I wouldn't judge most of our players based off the preseason games I've watched and the Everton game. But yeah, that was you could tell it's a fitness issue in the Everton game rather than the quality issue. I can see what Tuchel's trying to do with the front three, and it could work because you need to have players that are comfortable playing in different positions because they need to interchange on the pitch in attack, and you have Havertz that can comfortably play as a false nine, which I believe in a Chelsea system is his best formation. People say he's a second striker, but because we don't play with those formations or a number 10, no, I think as a false nine, he allows him to come and connect with his teammates, pick the ball. He's quite good with his link-up play. I know sometimes it looks like those are easy things to do, but those are things that you need to do as a false nine to keep the ball moving fast. You can't be. You can notice Havertz never hold the ball for too long. He has the ball releasing, movement, fast ball, move. And I think he showed us his qualities. Has he been the best player ever? No. I think he still has ways to improve, but I'm not in any way calling for him to do so. Like I agree with Eric, it will be controversial. Some people don't want to hear it, but I think Pulisic is getting to the point where I think we have to move him on. But again, I wouldn't move him on to a Premier League team. That's a big no. Maybe I'll give him Pulisic another season. If he doesn't, then we can look to move him on. Werner was a big one to go, and thank God he's gone. Lukaku is gone. And with Havertz will allow us to play with a fluid attack. With Broja, we don't really know. He's an unknown quantity in our system. So we need to come off that. Like, I know people I hear people want to play Broja straight away against Spurs. I'm like, it's a bit too soon. I think it would be good to come off the bench against Spurs. And we can have Havertz still operating in that false 9 position.
Yeah, again, unfortunately, I think, as much as people are also calling on the club to sell Christian Pulisic, I think Kai Havertz is taking the most heat at this point. Coming to you, Dales.
What, is it gone again?
Yeah, it's gone again. He's froze.
Yeah.
It's Dill's turn. Let Dill have
Dill's not.
Oh, Ty.
I want to get to you before
he goes off. What's that?
I wanted to see my.
Go ahead, Ty.
I have to go to the doctor soon, so I wanted to see my thoughts. Havertz is a player for me. I think he's misunderstood sometimes. I mean, he's not a striker. And considering the fact that even when he's not a striker, he's scoring the amount of goals that, as his natural position is, that it's good enough. But for the fact that he's playing as a striker, it doesn't seem good enough, because as a striker or somebody playing as a striker, you need to at least score 15 goals in the domestic league and then score other goals. The unfortunate thing is that with Havertz. When people look at videos, for people who use videos to describe or look at the profile of a player, they'll see him doing wonderful things, and then they'll say, why is he not doing it now? The thing is, and he himself spoke about it, went through a big growth spurt, and when you go taller out of nowhere, is that sound coming from me or?
I'm not sure where it's coming from, but go ahead.
When you have that level of growth stroke and you get extremely tall, it becomes an issue, and that is why players like Tammy Abraham had an issue, because when you're that tall, you're not physical enough. You're easily muscled off the ball. Havertz has shown that he can use his body and his height as an advantage, but at the same time, he's not really physical enough, and for a reason. The only way that he can really develop that strength is by getting a bulky body, and that's not always the case, because not many players who are successful have bulky bodies. So I think in that sense, it's unfortunate regarding him. If it's a case where Bayern Munich are in for him, I'm going to say something that I think a lot of people disagree with. And people say that no, he's not this, and I do agree with it. But for the sake of Havertz and for the sake of the club, I would honestly offload him to Bayern Munich, because Bayern Munich would actually utilize him in a position, and he'll be able to play in that position that he actually is. Something that he can't do in the Premier League. I mean, in my opinion, I see more like a Thomas Muller type of player, a forward, but also one that plays as a supporting role. But it's not really looked at as a player to score many goals. Maybe you can say that he's probably like a deep line forward, right? Maybe Firmino is, but he doesn't have the creative prowess of like a Thomas Muller or a creative prowess of a Firmino. But at the same time, the ability that he has, you cannot utilize that in the Premier League, and that is the case. In the Premier League, certain profiles can never work out, and that is why players like Werner could not realistically work out long term in a 38 match day in terms of the games that you play, because you're going to play against probably 6 teams that will be attack, and they play with high lines, and then you're able to thrive because you have the pace, and any little mistakes you can run onto that and you can score. So obviously certain profiles will work out, and I think, I mean, he's still young, so even if he does stay, it's not a case where he cannot develop that. But right now, his profile is not something that is offered in the Premier League. You need to be playing as a supporting striker, and you don't do that in the Premier League. No one uses that role. the closest road to somebody who plays as a supporting striker is what Liverpool in the past years when they had Salah and Mane playing as false nines, where they'll go central, they come from left or right, and then they go central. And you'd have Firmino, whose role has slowly drifted, and it's been minimal. Would be the one that sits deep, and then you'd see him score 10 goals, 11 goals, whereas you have a Mane or a Salah scoring 18 goals, 20 goals, 23 goals, and things like that. But with Havertz, due to the fact that he's grew taller, it's an advantage. It's a disadvantage for him because when he was younger, he was able to strike the ball better, and that is why, for me at least, this is a criticism I have with him. When he strikes the ball, it's a bit too soft. It doesn't really add much pressure. When he does shoot the ball with force, it goes over the bar and into an empty bucket. So I mean, it's a case where I don't think you probably work out in the Premier League at the moment.
Yes. If I were like Ty would say, I have to counter that. Here's what I want to tell you. I know you talked about how the German approach to football, and believe me, and I know you know that Thomas Tuchel is a typical German coach, and I can argue that any time, any day. Why? He has shown over the years that he doesn't play with traditional strikers, and that's what your typical German coaches do. They don't want a traditional striker. They want a striker who's hybrid. Who would be able to participate in the play, drop deep. They prefer a fluid attack. We'll see that in the national team. We see that in most of the German, in their club sides overall. But I get your argument. You think it wouldn't work. I think it will work. And I think if really Thomas Tuchel don't think it will work, by now, the player himself will see that he doesn't want to keep him. And he'd be talking about leaving this window. He won't even wait. But again, I hope I didn't cut you off. Do you have anything else to add with what you said? I think we should get Daniel's opinion and move on from the topic.
I just want to quickly say this. They're winners, but the point about with Salah and Mane, they're winners. But at the same time, they as wingers, they're scoring goals that historically, when you look at what wingers really offer, recently
they're fast paced, though. They're fast paced. Salah and Mane and Salah are totally different to Havertz. They're fast-paced players. They're wingers.
No, I was not saying that. I was saying that.
All right, Ty, go ahead. Just round off your opinion. So, yeah.
Yeah,
go ahead, bro.
Saying that the closest role that he can play is the Firmino, where he have fast-paced players, like you just said, who are wide, that can make it less predictable when they come central, from the left to the center. And then that's why I'm saying the false line system will utilize. And that is why I say Liverpool, before they got Darwin Núñez, were playing a false line system. Because even Jota was utilized in a 2 up top attack at Wolves, because they played 3-5-2. The thing is, the point I'm making is that the closest role that you can play Havertz in is as that deep line forward, like Firmino is, but the expectancy from him is not to score 20 goals because he's not a striker. Firmino's roles drifted, and it slowly got minimal because he got older and, they wanted more goals. So the closest thing I'm saying is that he's either Thomas Müller, but he doesn't have the creativity in terms of the position like that Thomas Müller takes up. But at the same time, what I'm saying is if it goes to Bayern Munich, there's a manager there that will utilize him in a way where he can be at his best. It's the same thing with Hansi Flick when he plays for Germany. He doesn't score glorious goals every game, but in the Euros, he was a key player for them. He assists nearly every game or scored a goal every game in the Euros, and he was utilized in a role that Thomas Müller is utilized. So that's why I'm saying that in the Premier League, don't do that. But I have to say that I have to unfortunately do some things regarding my health. So wish me luck.
Yeah, again, Ty, I hope you get better. If you're in the chat again, once more, take some time to tell Ty we're praying for him that he's going to get better. Just stay strong, brother, and update me when you're back from where you're going. I hope you get better as soon as possible. Again, before we be sure to go check out Ty Talks YouTube channel. I will provide the link to his channel in a bit myself. Again, if you're watching, be sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We're approaching 6,000 subs. We're at 5,576 subscribers. We're not, like, in a few days, I do believe we'll reach 6,000 we'll say a road to 10,000, not even road to 6,000, because at the rate we're growing, we'll get there soon. And it's all because of your support. And I cannot thank you enough. Lionel Joe says Havertz is our best attacking player. Wish you had time to be on the panel to explain yourself. I like it, but he's the type of game, he'll still have an impact in a game, even when he doesn't score goals. He can impact the game by ensuring we remain fluid. We're able to keep the ball in the attacking area because he knows how to utilize the spaces quite well. That's how I see it. I know some people think otherwise. Mitch says if you give Bro games, he'd do so much better than Havertz because Broja is a more, you could say, he's a striker. That's what he does. Kai is a number 8, a number 10. Or if that's how you want to see it, it depends on how the manager went. I'd say traditionally a number 8, but I think he'd be better off a 10 than playing him as a striker. Even as a second striker, I don't want that. Like I said, he's a victim of his versatility. That's how I see it. Literally nobody plays with a second striker in England. That's something I haven't actually paid attention to. And Coach Chris, I do hope you're doing well. Nice to see you, brother. Says Just Viola says, what about Mount? If you are talking about Kai, we have to talk about Mount too. Yeah, and Pulisic too. I think we'll talk about them, but maybe not today. Probably tomorrow. And again, we have a build-up, Chelsea vs Tottenham build-up discussion later in the evening today, which is an experimental approach where I will try to experiment on how the convo show will be, because there will be no structure. It will be open discussion. But that's, by the way, again, Daniel, let me know your thoughts on the Kai Havertz discussion before we move to the next topic, and we'll round off there.
Okay, Coach, thank you very much for this. I disagree on Mitch, and I disagree on Ty, even though he's left. With Kai Havertz, right, like when we signed him 2 years ago, yeah, he had up and downs in the Premier League when he first started at Chelsea, yeah? With the homesickness, like missing his family in Germany, and then suddenly having COVID over that season. He had COVID. He was out for that couple weeks at Chelsea. The boy, you got to understand, Kai Havertz ain't a false 9. When he was at Bayer Leverkusen, he was a cam attacker, and he was a right centre mid role. So Thomas Tuchel, lately, he struggled with false 9. Why he's put Kai Havertz up front? Because he hasn't got no one to adapt. With Kai Havertz, Kai saying he's going to Bayern Munich, no chance. He's adapting the two wingers, like Sadio Mane and Salah, right? Were they're wingers, right? And they can force into the side of both corners, With Firmino, yes, he was striker for Liverpool, but he's also Jordan Klopp put him as a striker because he was originally a cam and a centre mid. And we've got to understand this, Our formation, we haven't got a cam, we haven't got a striker, we haven't got a cam or like in a role for Kai Havertz. You still there, Coach? Is Coach still there? You guys can hear me?
I'm hearing you. I just put myself on mute because I'm typing. Go ahead.
Okay. So basically, what it is, with Kai Havertz, he has adapted with us so well in the league. When with the talks with Kai Havertz not doing well before saying, for a minute, he's adapting to play our formation. Because we've changed our formation in the last 2 seasons now. We're playing to a different formation what we're doing this season. And Kai Havertz is outstanding. He's got the quality. He's got the physically. He's proven himself for us, this season to be one of the class young players in our team.
Mm.
And if we could change that formation to a cam attacker or a centre mid, Kai Havertz, that's his main position. You'll see his main position in that role, what it was at Bayer Leverkusen. Because we ain't got that formation. If we ain't got that formation in the Premier League. So how's he going to adapt to the formation where he didn't play at Bayer Leverkusen?
Havertz actually played as a striker in his last season before we signed him. But
Look
yeah,
in Germany. He doesn't play
yeah,
striker in Germany. He plays
no.
in
That's the
the
truth.
counter cam. He plays a counter cam. He plays a
Yeah.
number 10. So how could people say about Havertz playing not his best in that role where he's playing now? Because he's not used to that formation. That's that permission. He's trying his best to show people as a false nine that he could do it, and he has done it. He's done it against Man City last season. He's done it in the Premier League, but that's not his position. So with Kai Havertz, with the nonsense we're going to Bayern Munich, if Thomas Tuchel can play his position, at Bayer Leverkusen, he will play better where he is now, or White CM. He'll play better where he is. Mason Mount is a totally different player. Mason Mount plays different formations what he does in England international. But Havertz, for a minute, he's trying his best to be as a striker because we haven't got no one to replace a scorer. If Tuchel changed the formation and put Havertz where he used to play at Bayer Leverkusen, you'll see a different player in Havertz. The only most thing with Havertz, he's not adapting that well because he's at that position, coach. And
here's the thing: if we're actually paying attention, if we're actually being truthful to ourselves, his number this last season isn't actually that bad. But the problem with Chelsea fans is that we want players to be immaculate. Before it has to be very, very obvious before we agree that the player is doing well. Here's his numbers. 8 goals. It ain't that bad. 29. He's better than most people in the team.
Yeah, he was centre mid.
Let's look at his numbers for Leverkusen actually. Well, again, Europa League. I'm saying for Bundesliga, 12 goals, 17 goals. I think we're not paying attention again. Sometimes we don't look beyond the age. We don't look at the age of the player. We just start judging them. He's still very young, and for this last season, for 2021, 2022, his numbers actually ain't that bad. But of course, he has to be immaculate for Chelsea fans to accept.
Because he was a cam attacker for Bayer Leverkusen.
Yeah, I understand that, and you've already talked about that.
He scored goals like that because he was in the right position where he played. He scored 8 goals for us last season, because he weren't in the right position. And people saying about his facility, and his strength and his precision thing, he could do that role for us. He's got to understand it takes time to adapt into the Premier League, and he's done that. He did that last season, but it's the position. If Thomas Tuchel changed the formation where he knows where Kai Havertz can play, it'd be different kind of level. His category would be better, but we haven't got that. We ain't doing that formation 4-3. Like you said, he was saying about Timo Werner, right? You got to understand, Timo Werner was on the left wing. Timo Werner wasn't a left winger. He was a striker from RB Leipzig, and that's why he scored goals for Leipzig, more goals for Leipzig that season. And then when he comes to Chelsea, he got pushed out to a different position where Timo Werner could not adapt to that position. That's why he struggled. All
right, just quickly, I'm going to catch up with the chat, and I'm come to Lionel George to give us his opinion before I go to Eric with the final topic. And when we go around with the final topic, which is about Aubameyang, we'll call it a day. Mitch, Kai can play every position to an average level, but nowhere exceptionally. Versatile is someone who can play many positions to a great level. Kai is an example of the word versatile used wrong. I think even you're correct. Let's assume you're correct. If the manager sees Kai as a versatile player, there's nothing you can do about that. And again, my argument is that he's been using so many positions. Maybe I shouldn't use the word that he's versatile, given your definition. He's been using so many different positions that he hasn't had the time to actually settle in properly in the team. Do I think Thomas Tuchel will let him go? I think no. I think he trusts him. And like I've said before, Thomas Tuchel is a typical German coach. he prefers fluid. He will prefer fluidity over power, strength, or having a traditional striker in the team anytime, any day. Let me move quickly to catch up with more contribution. But again, thank you. Again, that qualifies for a delicious comment because it makes sense. I'm going to try to catch up quite a lot in the chat and come back to the panel. Go to Lionel Joe to let me know what he thinks. Again, here we have Coach Chris says we got Sterling and Pulisic. We just need a proper striker, and we got our three, up top. Again, I'm going to say this again. If you're calling for Chelsea to sign a striker, pay attention to the manager. What we have, again, maybe you're not calling for a traditional striker. If you're calling for what I call a hybrid striker, a striker who's able to participate in the play, drop deep, create chance for his teammates. We don't want a single individual to be a point of reference when we get to the final third. It's a problem. Once that player is marked out, then we're in trouble. And if we sign any player who's a traditional striker, that plays into the head of every other player in the team, whether subconsciously or not. They want to find them all the time, and that becomes a problem. I prefer fluidity. Again, if we want a striker, we must pay attention to who we're calling for the club to sign for the manager. But that's, by the way, I'm not okay. The coolest shells. If you haven't, please take a second to go check out the channel of the coolest shells. That's Tobago there, my brother from the Madiba land. Be sure to subscribe and let him know I sent you. We're selfless here. We're growing.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Again.
Oh no.
Together, and I know.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
All right, can you guys hear me? Go check out this channel, please. If I get cut off again, you guys should just go ahead. I'll try and reset it. But you can hear me now. Says what happened at the coolest sales again. He's talking to Knight. He's just looking for the trouble to see what Knight will say. Change formation because of Havertz. You failed to change the style of play because of Lukaku. Yeah, so that will bring up a lot of questions if you do that. That's, by the way, Mitch says, what is Kai then telling me? And if you're going to say second striker, barely any team in the Premier League plays, yeah, we've established that. Kai is a number 8. It's as simple as that. You could say maybe a 10 or a cam, or however you want to phrase it. He's better utilized when he plays behind the strikers. That's maybe a much more simple way to put it. But that's, by the way, I'm going to come back to the panel. If I keep reading, that's all we'll do for the day. And then we'll not get to the chat. Again, 150 people still watching. If you haven't, take a second to like the video and also do subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, remember, we have a build-up. Chelsea versus Tottenham build-up should come in on later in the day, probably around 9:30 to 10 UK time. And also the sister channel launches in about 4-5 days or 6. Let me just put it that way. So coming to you, Lionel Joel, your thoughts on the argument regarding Kai Havertz.
Yeah, like I said in my comments, I think he's our best attacker, and he's been since he's arrived. Why do I say that? Well, because his touch, his movement, his progressions with the ball. I mean, there's a lot of things that are not seen. Yeah, we see a couple of misses, and everyone.
If I could say quickly, I think you just made a good point. There are a lot that he does for the team that are not seen. Yeah, that reminds me of a certain Nigerian player, one Kwakano. You don't know what he's doing on the pitch until you take him off. But go ahead.
Exactly. And we've seen when Kai Havertz hasn't been on the pitch, or he's not doing well, like he wasn't against Everton. We saw how bad the front line plays. So when Kai is on point, when Kai is ready, everything goes well for us. Technically, like I said, he's the best forward that we have. No one can touch Kai. His first touch is exceptional. Yes, he has to work on his finishing, but it's so funny. Everyone is always like, Pulisic needs time. Mount is young. Cho is young. But then when it comes to Kai Havertz, because of the price tag, we forget his age. We forget how young he is. We forget that he needs time. I think for such a young guy to come all the way from the Bundesliga, which is, again, an inferior league to the Premier League. Like, they don't have the type of play. They're not going to play every single day the way you play in the Premier League. For him to come in and be a mainstay player in this Chelsea side who's pushing for FA Cups, Champions Leagues, the Premier League sometimes at least, it shows what type of man he is. already at this young age. I have a feeling that when Kai was brought in to Chelsea, the team was supposed to be built around Kai. That's why Roman was like, you know what, let's just go and pay the money for this young kid, because he believed that this kid could, alongside Mount, alongside Reece James, could be something that we build towards the future. And it's just like, bottom line is, he is our best attacker. Like, no one touches him. Pulisic doesn't touch him. Lukaku doesn't. Lukaku was benched because of Kai, because Kai gave us more of a threat going forward than Lukaku does. Ziyech, Timo Werner when he was here. Like, whoever you name, you compare them against Kai and they cannot touch him. The only person right now that's probably showing a bit more is Raheem Sterling. But even then, we haven't fully seen what Raheem Sterling is capable of. And all this praise that Raheem is getting, we've all seen the big misses that Raheem has done, at Man City. So at the end of the day, Kai is the main man. Let's give him his time. He's going to grow. His numbers have gone from one season to another. They've been better. Obviously, the position play is different. I think if we play 2-1, meaning we play Kai behind 2 up front, that's where his perfect position would be. That's where he would cook the best. But Thomas Tuchel doesn't play like that. He plays a 3 with 2 going wide. So it's a different system, but he's adapting. Whatever you give him, he's going to make sure that it happens. In the German team, he's the first person on the call sheet, or one of the first people on the call sheet. And it is what it is. He is that player, and we need to get behind him and support him. And the team needs to be built around Kai Havertz.
We paid a lot of money for Kai Havertz, like 75 mil to 95 mil.
No, the money, we're not concerned with the money is not the case now. We're looking at what he brings to them. But that's, by the way, I get your argument, Daniel. The money isn't the issue. Again, I think most people are not quite sure, cannot quite say what he brings to the team. And it takes a seasoned footballing mind to know guy brings quite a lot to the team.
He's a champion winner for us, man. He's a champion winner.
No, forget about that alone. I understand a well-taken goal. But we're just talking overall. There are Chelsea fans who, beyond that Champions League goal, cannot tell you what he brings to the team.
An example.
Yeah. Here, I'm going to tell you what he brings to the team. Kai brings fluidity going forward, right? He brings an experienced touch for his age. Like, if you look back at our game against Newcastle, where he scored that last-minute goal. No one in our front line, maybe apart from Mount, could bring the ball down the way he did and put it in the back of the net. That just shows the type of technique that this kid has from a young age. It shows the type of quality that he has. He brings that fluidity to our front line. He's the link. He links up that midfield and our attack, and he does it with finesse. That's what Kai Havertz brings to this team. I don't understand why people keep saying, "Oh, we don't know exactly what." Yeah, forget the Champions League goal.
Look what he done at Liverpool. Look what he done at Liverpool.
He still brings the flair going forward. He still brings that connectivity. Kind of like someone said earlier, Firmino at Liverpool. Firmino wasn't, he didn't score all the goals, but he connected with Sane and what's his name, and Salah. He made that connection, and that's why if Kai Havertz could go into the Liverpool team and do exactly what Firmino did, but at a higher level. It's because of just the way that we play. He needs time to get used to the league. I think he's done that already. I think he's at a point where he feels comfortable in England. I feel like he's at a point where he can only get better from here. So that's what he brings to this Chelsea team.
Yeah, unfortunately, not everybody sees that. Go ahead, Rodrigo. You have something to say.
Yeah,
you were going to say, and you haven't actually talked about him overall, but so go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to add to what Lionel was saying.
But overall, talk about him, because I forgot you haven't actually spoken about the player.
Yeah, I did a bit.
But, did you really? Okay, go ahead.
A point in case is again. I know it's Norwich, obviously, it's the bottom team, right? But it's just an example when I pick up from that game. We won that game 7-0, right? Kai Havertz didn't score in that game, and I was hearing everyone say he was poor in that game or do anything, but he was actually the link. He was actually the reason why we won that game 7-0.
Yeah.
Even the game. I think even the game we played against Leicester away from home, what Havertz allows us to do, and especially if you have a front three that's willing to move into position and move into interchange, Havertz allows that front three to be that fluid. The issue we have at Chelsea is mainly coming from the midfield, because as much as you can do the movement in your front three, if the ball is not coming quick enough, your movement is redundant. So when the ball is at Havertz's feet, like I said, Havertz never takes too many touches. That he takes the ball, and max he'll probably take 3 touches. Takes the ball, move it quickly, because he understands that as a linking man, as a false nine, you're there to facilitate the play. If you hold on to the ball for too long, you will ruin the movement of your fellow attackers. So that's something that if you watch Havertz game, you will notice that when obviously when it's at home, how elegant it's on the ball. Take the ball, move it. Even if sometimes it might seem like an easy pass, but it's the fact that the ball has to keep moving.
Yeah, he keeps attacking the area of taking. That's what taking. That is, he makes sure that is the fluidity alone. Again, his intelligence is. You did mention. I think it was against Southampton, right?
Yeah, even Southampton against Norwich.
Yeah, he didn't score, but you could argue without him that attack will not be that fluid enough to start with the Southampton defender or midfielders. He was everywhere on the pitch that day, even though he didn't score. But go ahead.
It was the best assist last season, coach. He was the best assist, even though he didn't score more goals last season. He was one of our best players last season. I've just looked at his assist stats on the Chelsea website. He had more assists than any other player on the pitch for Chelsea last season. So people saying about Havertz ain't got the quality for false nine. Yeah, he could do anything. He could put the balls into us. He did it. Look at the game against Liverpool where it was 2-0 down. We come back 2-2. Look at the ball, what he did to make it 2-2. He was our main best player on the pitch.
Here's the thing, for us to move on from that argument, I think he can do better. But go ahead, Daniel, round off your opinion so I can bring in the next topic and we'll round off with it. Go ahead. Daniel, you were still talking.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, sorry. Basically, like people say, like all these players, if he ain't a striker or he ain't a left wing or he ain't all these positions, the people's got to understand this. Yeah, Kai Havertz, was he's trying to adapt to Tuchel's position anywhere he is, and where he does play that role, he still does best for us. He does, even though he probably not scored goals, but you've got to understand. Last season, he had the more assists in our Chelsea squad. He could create goals for us, but the thing is, when you try and look for players, we have like I've said so many times, Lukaku. Yeah, didn't get into the box enough where Kai Havertz could put the ball in. We didn't have a good false nine up front to get the goals in. But this season, Kai Havertz, he'll show his ability and what he could do this season for us.
I hope to see that. Let me try and catch up with the chat. Havertz isn't going anywhere this season. If he doesn't step up, then he will be out next season. It's not that simple, but I still hope he does well, given that Thomas Tuchel will be bringing in some new, talent to reinforce the attacking. The restructure, actually, like he said, we're hearing he wants to restructure the attacking area of the team, and it makes sense. I know Spurs will finish top 4 again. Let's see. I think they're capable of doing that, and they've brought in the players that the manager wanted to bring in. So good luck to them. And they did the last game, the first game of the season they played. Did they actually start any of their new signings? I don't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong. Liverpool players, again, I'm not sure what is stuck in there. Havertz hasn't had a normal season at the club yet. A lot of distractions over the last few years. He could argue that, but give us an example of some. I'd like to know. We don't operate like that here. When you say something, back it up. We want to know, but I get your point anyway. Fluid attack, we need goals and more goals. And you could argue we've actually scored more goals when we played with a fluid attack. The numbers are there to be seen, but when we played, again, this is not me bringing up the Lukaku argument again, but when we played with Lukaku in the team, a traditional number 9, we struggle to score more than 2 or 3 goals, even in some cases more than 1. But when we had fluid attacks, that's when we scored plenty of goals, sometimes 4, sometimes 6. Check all of them and let me know if I was correct or not. I'm going to go to Eric. Eric, let's talk about oh my goodness. Yeah, June. Let me see. Let's talk about this brother. The last time we talked about him, the concern of many people were his behavior. So I want to get your thoughts. Are you concerned too that if you eventually join us? I know it's looking like it's going to be pretty difficult, given that they want to keep him, and he's done quite well for them. In 17 games, I think he scored 11 goals, and that's nearly a single goal per game. And his numbers in the Premier League, you could argue, are phenomenal. So, but your thoughts, do you think it'd be a problem in terms of his behavior? Eric, did we lose you? Did we lose Eric?
Sorry, I'm here. I missed the first part of what you said.
Well, my question is, people are concerned about his his record, disciplinary record, if you prefer. Do you think that would be an issue?
Where was his disciplinary record?
Arsenal is what they point to. Yeah,
at Bayern, and at Dortmund.
I think Dortmund. I think he was perfect.
Exactly. So there was no problem with that, and we know that Tuchel doesn't tolerate nonsense from players. So for me, this stuff is I'm not going to say that nothing happened at Arsenal, and I'm not going to say Arteta was wrong for what he did. It worked for him in the end for what he was trying to do, but we don't even know the details about what actually happened. So why am I going to speculate about this disciplinary or that disciplinary thing that he did or he didn't do when I know that there's a manager who has previous history with this player and he has nothing bad to say about him? So why am I going to focus on what I don't even know when we have something that we can use? So based on what I understand, based on what we can look at from this, the player and the manager from a previous club, I see no reason why not. The only thing you can say maybe is his age. He's not a spring chicken. So who knows how long he can play at the highest level. But for me, the second thing is Barcelona. I don't really want to do any deals with Barcelona after the kind of season that we've had with them this season. Even though most of the targets, I wasn't even that bothered about them. People are trying to make it look like a huge L for Chelsea when it's not even that deep for me. Half the players who were interested in fact, I can't think of one player except maybe Dembele. Dembele was probably the only player that we could have gotten and Barcelona managed to keep, and they still have him. That's the only player at Barcelona right now who I wanted. So for me, it's not that deep, but I just no. Rafinha is not. I don't rate him like people rate him.
And you could argue that Rafinha wasn't a priority target. What we heard was that it was going to be a bonus if after we get all other players and all that. But go ahead, Eric.
I mean, even the Koundé thing. Let's be honest. If we really wanted Koundé would be a Chelsea player right now. So I don't really get this whole. It's a massive L. It's a huge L. For me, it's okay. It's an L because of the way we went about it, kind of messing around. But in the end, it's not an L because we didn't really show that we wanted him because we didn't do enough. So it's not even something that you think about too much. So Eric, I don't like Barcelona.
Can I just say something quickly, Eric? It's Eric, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's a disciplinary issue with Aubameyang. I think it's an attitude problem. That's what I see is he has an attitude problem. So whether he's able to be whether Thomas Tuchel is able to keep him in check or whatever, that's a whole other story. But attitude is a problem that we have at Chelsea and we've had for a really long time. When things aren't going a player's way or they're not being played in a certain position or something, whatever excuse they can come up with, they get an attitude and a really bad attitude. And that's kind of the issue that I have with Aubameyang. He's disciplinary. Arteta had, he had it out with Ozil. and a bunch of other players, not just Aubameyang. So you could say that maybe the coach wanted to get rid
Totally
of
disagree on that. Totally disagree on that.
I mean, I can easily just
certain
ask
players.
you, where was his attitude problem at Dortmund? And what can you tell me about that?
Yeah, but at Dortmund, he was still trying to prove himself. He wasn't the big bad Aubameyang that he is now. Do you understand what I mean? He does this at the national team constantly. Ever since he went to Arsenal, when he would come to the national team, he had the attitude. Like I said the last time on here, before the AFCON, he was in Dubai, busy having drinks and having a good time instead of being at camp, because he thought he was the big bad person. Do you understand what I mean? So it's not just about what Thomas Tuchel can do. It's about the attitude that he brings. He's going to be a senior player. There's going to be a lot of the younger guys looking up to him because of what he's done in the game, like Broya, for example, who's going to look up to him. And if he sees this kind of attitude where it's like, I'm not getting my way, or I'm not being played the way I want to play, because he's not going to get the same freedoms that he had at Dortmund from Thomas Tuchel.
Okay, but
it's not the same.
Yeah, that's fair, but I mean, it's not. You're assuming. You don't know what his attitude was at Dortmund, right? Why are you making the assumption that he's so different now because he's now this big, star?
Because that's what he's shown. That's what he's shown both at Arsenal.
No, I totally disagree on that.
Let's not talk at the same time, one by one. Go ahead. It's Lionel, you were saying something.
Yeah, no, I was just making the point. Like, I'm done with my point, but I'm just making the point because I've had to watch him at my national team. We don't have a really big squad. We don't have really good players. We have one good player. So when one good player has an attitude, and it was proven during AFCON that, outside of Aubameyang, because of his attitude issues and the way he acted and his behavior, it rubbed off on a lot of other players who could have helped us in the AFCON. And that's kind of the deal that we got during this AFCON. So it's I'm talking based on what he's done lately, his actions, and how that can impact a dressing room, because it's happened one at Arsenal and it's happened at Gabonese.
All right, and I'm pretty sure. Sorry.
Go on, let you talk, Eric.
Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, just to quickly respond, I'm pretty sure Tuchel isn't blind. He knows what happened at Arsenal. He's aware, and he probably even knows what happened with the national team. He might know that. As I expect him to know, because he's a manager. So for me, if Tuchel doesn't see it as such a big problem, for me, we're going to sign a player, potentially going to sign a player with attitude, not necessarily an attitude problem. So I'm willing to give Tuchel the benefits of the doubt. I'm willing to trust Tuchel. If Tuchel truly wants this guy, I'm pretty sure Tuchel doesn't think that he's going to be a problem in the dressing room. So that's what I'm gonna say on that.
Oh, sorry, Kai. Could I just give a question to Lionel? Lionel?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, right. So, basically, what you're saying about Aubameyang's attitude problem, what kind of attitude problem do you think he's got? Because in his Kinsley, you're saying about him at Arsenal, he had attitude.
I'll tell you.
Yeah,
I think Aubameyang likes them. Yeah, I think Aubameyang likes to play especially Aubameyang now, likes to play in a certain position. He likes to be given a sort of authority on the pitch, where I think there's also part of him that believes that because of, how many goals he scored, he kind of has this complex that's similar to Lukaku. So what I'm saying, the reason why I speak about Aubameyang the way I speak about him, is because these things have happened at both levels. This is not just, you can't just say, everything went well at Dortmund, and then he went to Arsenal, that's when things went bad, and that's it. I'm talking about two instances that I've had to watch pretty closely because it's my national team, and I would like my national team to do kind of well in AFCON. And his attitude put us at a really bad disadvantage in the AFCON, and it ruined a lot of the relationships that other players had in the team with the coach, because they followed in his footsteps. So Chelsea already...
Okay, buddy. Right. So what's the difference with him at Barcelona And what will make a difference with him if he was at Chelsea with Thomas Tuchel? I don't see where the point you're coming from, because his attitude, yeah, fair enough, it was at Arsenal, but it weren't his fault. Like I said before, 2 days ago, with the coach, he attitude, yeah, with Arsenal, yeah, it's because Marco did the same thing with Lacazette. Lacazette had an attitude with Arteta because the position, what Marco had an argument with Aubameyang and Lacazette at the club, what Aubameyang did like. The guy doesn't turn up training. He don't go like. Fair enough, his attitude, yeah, and he thinks he's like Aubameyang, but the only most thing what was wrong with his time, it was his timetable on the sheet with where it would be late for training. That's the only most attitude he had. But on the pitch,
but that's how things start. Like
he's not good at time. He's not good at time.
So let me get this. Let's stop. The back and forth doesn't help the argument. I know you are. He understands your argument. Go ahead with your response. You wanted to, Lionel.
No, Coach. Look. If he comes and he bangs goals, or he can have whatever attitude he wants. To be honest, but I feel like we're getting number one. The reality is we're getting an aged player. We're getting someone who is not. I don't think he's going to give us the 20 goals that we need to be able to battle it out with City and Liverpool. And also, I think he is a temporary plug to a problem that we have, because next season we're going to go and have to look at someone else because, again, of his age. People say, "Oh no, look at what's his name? Look at Thiago Silva. He's 38 and he's still playing." It's very different being a central defender to being a goal scoring, especially in the Premier League. We all know this. So, yeah, I mean, again, like I said, if he comes in and he bangs 20 goals in the season, fantastic. He can have whatever attitude he wants, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to maybe see a glimpse of Aubameyang at the start. And then, towards the end of the season, we're going to see the same Aubameyang that we had at Arsenal.
Here's what I want to say before we come to the end of the show, and everybody have to say that. I want to get everybody's final thoughts on everything we've talked about. We don't have the luxury to actually move beyond Aubameyang if we have the opportunity to sign him, even if it's him helping us for just one season. I'd take him. He's proven he hasn't actually. His numbers end up, you could argue, haven't dropped that badly. At Arsenal, his numbers only started dropping at the moment Mikel Arteta took over, and maybe because it all comes down to Mikel's preferred approach to the game. He had 22 goals in 2 consecutive seasons, and then went to Barcelona in 17 games and scored 11 goals. This guy still have it in him. I get you concerned about his behavior. But the truth remains, it comes down to what Eric talked about. We heard nothing about his behavior at Dortmund. It's only Arsenal. He hasn't misbehaved at Barcelona. Even if you say it's attitude, there has to be a pattern before you can say that thing is constant.
Of course there's a pattern. This is my point, is there's a pattern. The reason why I'm even saying this is because there is a pattern. Coach, we didn't hear about Lukaku's issues there at Inter Milan, and he came and he had issues. We've had a problem for years with attacking players, right? So when we look at who we get, even if it's for one season, we need to be very careful about who we get, what kind of player they are, and what kind of attitude they have. The attitude is important, because the reason why we all stood by Timo Werner, even though he was missing, is because of his attitude. The way that he picked himself up every single time. He didn't sulk. He didn't make it an issue with the whole team that he was missing. Every time there was a game, every time they put him in, Timo Werner ran. Whether it was in the 90th minute, he ran. The start of the game, he ran. He gave the team everything that they needed. This is what I'm talking about. Again, like I said, the pattern is there. It's been proven, and this is what I'm not just talking about it because I don't like Aubameyang. I'm a big fan of Aubameyang, but I'm not a big fan of Aubameyang for Chelsea Football Club.
The pattern you said, let me just quickly jump in. The pattern you said from what I've heard, everything I've heard so far, it is from what you saw at Arsenal and what you saw with the national team for Gabon. As far as I'm aware, that's what you're referring to. So those are the two situations. Okay, so in terms of for a club, I think Arsenal is the only one we are aware of. You mentioned Lukaku. I think there was something that happened at United. So maybe not at Inter, but before then at United, there was a problem with Lukaku. And United fans will tell you what he did. So
and at Belgium, he had a problem
with Belgium. So I'm not sure if those two separate scenarios are enough to tell me there's a pattern. Maybe if he had more than one scenario for a club, then you can say this is a bad pattern with this player. And I'm pretty sure Tuchel does his research. He has people to check these things, and hopefully we're actually moving in the right direction with these things with the new ownership. We're actually doing the right research to know the kind of players we're bringing into the club. But for me, I don't know if what you mentioned is enough to say this is a very obvious pattern with Aubameyang that means that he might be a problem for the dressing room. But maybe I'm wrong though. But I think I'm going to trust Tuchel, to be honest, with that. I'm going to trust Tuchel.
And plus, if we're really talking about pattern, how about seeing things, saying, being objective here and saying maybe, just maybe the problem is Mikel Arteta. Look how many players he's falling out with. And now the captain of the team is, the former Real Madrid kid? Odegaard, isn't he? Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're right, Coach.
Exactly. And he still has Xhaka, and they had problems too. And I think he had issues with Lacazette also. So I think I also did see a tweet from my brother HH saying something. Arteta, as a young manager, wanted to stamp his authorities, so they started falling out. I'm sure possibly that's a chance he decided to tweet that regarding people's comments on how Aubameyang and how he carried himself, when he was still at Arsenal. So I don't really see the problem here. Plus, every time Thomas Tuchel spoke about the player, he did speak very highly of him, saying they still have a good relationship. So that's it.
He spoke about a young and hungry Aubameyang. He's not talking
no,
about...
it's not true. It's not true. No, it's not true. No, it's not. No, that's
not true.
That's not true.
All right, I think we just keep going back and forth with this argument because the truth remains we all see things from different lenses. And in the case of Aubameyang, I think it's going to be everywhere. Yes.
Sorry to break the conversation. Right, Lino, right. Thomas Tuchel has always praised Aubameyang, since day one. Once when Thomas Tuchel left Borussia Dortmund, when Aubameyang was still at Dortmund, no matter what, till now, until his age now, he still praised Aubameyang. The thing with Aubameyang, with his attitude, I don't get what you're saying about his. Yeah, fair enough what he did with his international club and what he did at Arsenal. Because Mikel Arteta put him on a left wing, right, on the wing, where he Wesley was up front for Arsenal. He put him on the wing that day, and Aubameyang went happy. The likes of Aubameyang, it was at Barcelona last season, not in once attitude problem he had at Barcelona. The guy, they only had that. Well, it was like I said to you, Eric, Lukaku, the situation with Man United and Belgium, he had an attitude with Belgium manager at that time. I can't remember his name. It took over after Martinez.
I don't understand something. You guys are saying Lukaku had issues at Belgium, he had issues at United, and he went to Inter and it was fine, right? I'm telling you, Aubameyang had a problem, we all know, at Arsenal. He had problems at the national team, and it was fine at Dortmund. But it's the same thing. If we're looking at Lukaku and what happened to Lukaku, we can see a pattern of his behavior at Everton, at United, and at the national team. I'm telling you the same thing with Aubameyang at Arsenal, which we all saw, and at the national team, we all saw. He's the captain of the national team, and he behaved like he was, guys, anyway,
exactly. That's the truth. We'll move on. We'll move on from it, please. Let me catch up with the chat. We'll come back and round up with this streaming. It's almost 4 hours now, and that's quite a lot. We're still going to have, the build-up show during the day, and I still have something to record with Harry, so that's quite a lot. Please, it says no wonder, Coach Chris says no wonder Lukaku ran off. That is absolute foolishness. They wanted to get Lukaku and have him play like Firmino. He is legitimately that. Yeah, I get your argument, but you can argue it wasn't Thomas Tuchel that asked for the player to be signed. But do I think he okayed it? Yes, because I don't think they'd bring him in if he didn't okay the signing of the player. But that's, by the way, here Chelsea all the way says Kai Havertz has been used in different positions. What's his actual position? An 8. That's the simplest way to explain it. An 8. It's the simplest that. But that's no excuse. Again, if you paid attention, he's not been that bad, actually. His number this past season isn't really the worst in the team. And you can't just single an individual out and start blaming them for everything that's gone wrong for the team. But unfortunately, the way I'm seeing it, Kai Havertz is the next person since Timo Werner has left the club. That's why the way Chelsea need a pure DM to unlock a Kai, Mount, and Gallagher. You could argue that, some people argue, but I don't think... the lack of availability of let's say, the lack of a traditional DM isn't the issue with our attacking. It runs deeper than just that. Again, if we create, let me just put it this way, if we create twice as much as the chances we've created, or maybe if we have midfielders, the 2 6s who are capable of, creating chances even from deep. And those two they do get close to the final third quite a lot, but yet we don't have enough numbers. Because the more the chances you create, the more the attacking players will score goals. Have Chelsea signed him yet? Who you referring to? I'm not sure. Moya Kinsley, I'm not sure who you're talking about. That makes zero sense, but you are entitled to your opinion. Yes, we all are, and thank you for recognizing that. Kai Havertz would admit to you himself, he hasn't played as well. Yeah, we agree. Has he been firing on all cylinders? No. We're saying he's not a bad player overall, and whatever that's gone wrong for him isn't entirely his fault. There are other factors we must consider, and plus he's still young. People should stop waffling. Then it comes to when it comes to Kai Havertz, say it as it is. Kai is slow, lazy, weak, and inconsistent. That's your argument. You have every right to that, but you can't force me to change my argument to align with yours. Then we don't have a show here. You present your
Coach, he's gone.
Coach.
Let's carry on the debate, boys.
I present my counter.
Yeah, there he is. He's back.
Oh, he's back. Okay.
Yeah, let's just call it. Let's just let me just find it. So we'll call it there. Otherwise, will keep happening. I'm gonna start with you, Lionel. Your thoughts on everything we talked about, or maybe the one you joined when we're still talking about it, discussing it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think Kai is our best attacking player. I think he needs nurturing. He needs to adapt. We're looking at some of the top boys in this league that are young, around the same age as him, that are also struggling. Jadon Sancho's, the Marcus Rashford. You can name the list of these young players that are struggling right now. I think Kai is doing better than a lot of them. He's definitely doing better than Sancho. And that he's just going to get better as time goes on. We just need to back him the same way we backed Timo Werner when he was misfiring and so on. So, yeah, again, thank you for having me. Sorry I came on late. But yeah.
No worries, bro. No worries. And again, more thanks to you for finding time to join us. That's never easy. Bills don't pay themselves, and we're all busy. Again, if you haven't, go check out Lionel Joe YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe. I think you will love his channel. Always objective. Again, be sure to tell him I sent you. Dan, your final thoughts before I go to Eric.
Basically, everything what was said about Fofana. Just want to give people, all the Chelsea fans, to give it just chance with the transfer market. The players we're trying to sign, it will be improved. We're just trying to push it forward to get the players. Time will. We've got 2.5 weeks left on the transfer market. The back come. Frenkie de Jong, I'm not sure about him. I don't think we're going to sign him now. I know he ain't happy with the pay cut role still, but I think if Barcelona says he wants him still out, we'll
get the movement to actually get it. Like I said, people just need to give Kai Havertz. He doesn't need to adapt to the Premier League. He knows what he can do in the Premier League. He is a quality player, but he just needs to be in the right position to adapt where we play in that line role. With Aubameyang, I know I'm not sure if we're definitely going to get him at Barcelona. I heard about Memphis Kai might be leaving, but if Barcelona want to keep the Kai and Aubameyang, I think Aubameyang would be much approval for us for 1 season or 2 seasons, so we can get goals in for our team. It was nice meeting you, Lionel. Nice to meet you, Eric. Thank you for letting me join the panel.
Nice to meet you too, mate.
I hope the Chelsea will play the top 5 because, but just give it time for Todd Boehly to get the players in. Once we've got these players in, we'll have a good season. Coach, thank you for letting me come on today. And then just one thing. My son said thank you for wishing him out happy birthday. I've got 5 children, by the way.
Wow, you have a battalion at home.
Yeah, I've got
a basketball team.
The boy who I showed you on video, he's only 3. My boy who was for me, old, turned yesterday, and I've got an older boy on the 24th of August. He's 10. So just for everyone on YouTube yesterday, to say thank you very much for wish my boy a happy birthday, and thank you very much for letting me join the panel.
Yeah, no worries, bro. Again, I appreciate you finding time to join in. And to Jeff Knightley, who says, enjoyable stream, nice mix-up of options. Yep, that's the case. We, if we don't have differing opinions or differing arguments, then we don't have a show. And we're not here to sit and suck up what any singular individual says. No, we're here to, bring everything together, dissect and analyze, and then come to a sensible conclusion. It's not about a single individual here. Even those in the chat, they have great opinions. Always things to learn from those in the chat too. So, Eric, bro, how you there, my brother? Now you get the final say, your thoughts on everything we've talked about today.
I did.
And anything else you want to say, up to you. You have the floor.
Yes, very happy to be on a stream again, on the panel. After a very long time. Fantastic conversation as always. I just have a few things to say, to be honest. The first thing is the agenda against Havertz is stinky. He's not for sale. For me, yes, he hasn't been the best player.
Maybe it's Bayern testing the waters like they did with the case of Harry Kane.
Maybe they are, but for me, there's too many unpleasant agendas, and there are too many so-called Chelsea fans who are behaving like rival fans. So it's very amusing to me that so-called Chelsea fans are having some opinions that you'd expect rival fans to have. But we'll just leave it there for that one. I think you mentioned something about a DM. I agree. That's not the only problem we have. It's not as if getting a DM, getting Declan Rice will just solve all our problems. But it also doesn't help that we don't have a DM. Because even the pivot, for me, a DM would help a lot without double pivots, in my opinion. Because Jorginho, who is the best fit for that role, he's limited physically. So it will go a long way if we get a better option in terms of the ability to run back and the ability to recover when you've lost possession, things like this. So that's what I'll say for that. I'm happy with the window so far. It's not enough, but we're making the right decisions. We're getting rid of players who need to.
Would you say we've done surprisingly well, actually, better than anticipated?
Yes, and just a very broad conclusion in terms of, specifically with regards to the team and what we're trying to do. And this is actually a rebuild, in case people didn't realize. Maybe Chelsea fans don't know, but it's a rebuild. So instant success is not the way forward now. We've seen too much evidence to suggest that is not the way to go. So all these Chelsea fans who can't get it out of their heads, they've been so used to instant success. They're almost trying to preempt the manager getting moved on. And they don't want to back Tuchel after everything he's done. You need to realize that things are different now. And hopefully these fans will come on board and give the manager time to build his own team. When he's fully built his team, and the players who have been here and underperforming for so many years have all moved on, then we can talk about, him getting moved on if he doesn't perform with a team that is fully his team. I think that is only fair based on what he's done for us so far. So that's my final comment on that. And I'm looking forward to the game against Spurs.
So I do know. I think we'll be a different animal on that day. Given that the bigger the occasion, I think the better we play. I was concerned about but before the game against Everton because of the Charity FC factor and all that. But Spurs are looking like they're the better side on paper, given how many players they've signed and all that. But that's when you see the best out of Chelsea Football Club. I hope we win it. I don't want to draw. I want us to win and win convincingly. And I think it's possible. But that's, by the way, during the build-up show this evening, I think we'll try and predict some of Sucker's lineup. Again, I cannot thank you guys enough for finding the time to join the panel. I want to thank all of the mods there, including the Bluetooth game, always available to support the channel. Jeff Knightley, Kimso, the panic train driver. I probably didn't pick up any passengers today because there weren't many complaints about the transfer. My brother, Crazy E, Damwana, how are you? I appreciate all of you. I can't thank you guys enough. And if I missed your name, apologies. I'm only a human being. I hope to see you guys later in the evening for the evening show. And I do believe we'll have a good show too. So thank you. God bless us all. And bye.
Good time.